Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another crazy edition of Crime and Sports that we are lucky to be making today. Because
if you love this, you should certainly be thankful.
If you've ever seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, we got a chance to live it yesterday. So we had a really good time after Charlotte. Oh, my God. Yeah, I would just like to say that Delta can suck every dick known to man. That pilot looked us in the eye, Jimmy, and he lied to us. Stared at us and said, yeah,
right
little delay, just get on off the plane. Second that last person was off, he was already looking at the board of departures, looking at where his gate was, that they were assigned him next when we got flight canceled. He knew it, and he lied to our faces.
How fucking dare you?
You asshole. Delta pilot who looked too young to be a pilot but had terrible hair of a 55-year-old man with a lot of stress. That guy, if I ever fucking see you in the street, I will punch you in your fucking face, you lying cunt, number one.
Delta airline who looked too young for that hairline. The Delta would only trust you with an hour flight, you motherfucker.
You piece of garbage. That's how good you are. God damn it. I'm so upset. We had,
you're only allowed a 58-minute flight before the traffic control people start to worry.
My God, they're like, "Where is he? Is he okay? Check. This is the tower. You're just
Columbus,
checking in.
You got him.
Just checking, just making sure. Every once in a while, we'd like to hear from you. Just let you know.
Wilmington, you got him.
Plane still flying, hasn't fallen from the sky. He didn't forget how to work the controls or anything.
Fucking, you know what he's real good at? Lying.
Liar. Oh, he's good at lying. That's why they got him. That's part of the Delta pilot program. There's an acting/improv course that they make you take where you have to do blah, 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 before to loosen up and all of that shit. Yeah, that's what he did.
He did red, yellow.
Yeah. He was in the Groundlings, so, he was good. Yeah, I had to, I believed him. I bought it. I got to be honest with you.
Unique New York. Son
Jesus
of a bitch.
Fucking Christ. It was the Upright Citizens Brigade back in the day. I almost called him the Brigade. What is that?
The UCB Theater, this guy.
That's where he was. So, almost made SNL, but the hairline kept him out. They already had
They already had Kevin Nealon.
That's it. So, yeah, we know he's bald under there somehow. So, allegedly.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So anyway, welcome to Crime and Sports.
Here we are.
We're very excited to be here. We have a wild episode for you. First of all, definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets. Live shows are coming. I don't know. There's tickets left to Dallas for December. But virtual live show, October 26th. We're going to do a special Small Town Murder virtual live show, just like a regular live show, except the advantage of you being wherever you want to be. You don't have to come to us. We'll sort of come to you digitally, anywhere in the world. And it'll be available for a week after the actual thing on the 26th, all through Halloween. We're going to dress up. It's fun. Trust us. We'll give you a good performance, and it'll be a good time. So that's shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live for that. You definitely, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out regularly, not early, then right now you can listen to Your Stupid Opinions.
Holy shit.
It is out at this point because it'll be September the 18th if you're listening early, every Monday morning. So you can listen to this episode and then go, I'm going to go check out Your Stupid Opinions. And that's what you should. That's what you should absolutely do. Our new podcast. We cannot wait for you to hear it. So definitely do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all the bonus materials. It's so cheap. $5 a month? What are you kidding me? Anybody $5 a month or above. That's one cup of coffee.
It is.
You go, you know what? I'm not going to get that cup today. I'm going to get a couple hundred back episodes of bonus stuff and new stuff every other week instead. I think that's a better deal, Starbucks. Yeah. So, Dutch Brothers, kiss my ass. Here we go. This week, which we're going to talk about, is all things with the word Slapshot in it. Operation Slapshot, which was a gambling ring, or that's the code name of the police thing that busted them, but it had involved Rick Tocchet and all these people. It's going to be very interesting. We'll talk about that. And also the movie Slapshot, because somehow we're the only two guys our age that had never seen Slapshot, and we missed it, and we watched it at the same time and loved it. So we'll talk all about that, adding it to our canon of best sports movies. And then for Small Town Murders bonus episode, we're going to talk about the Fire Festival.
There you go.
What a disaster that was, what they're planning for Fire Festival 2, and how you're going to get ripped off this time. It'll be very interesting.
Brought to you by Delta Airlines.
Yes. That's the thing. After this weekend, I'm pretty sure Billy McFarland went down covering for Delta. I'm sure they had something to do with it. They should hire him as a pilot. Guys, it's Blink 182 is going to be here any minute. We swear to God. We're going to take off. They're going to play in the back of the plane. You're going to love it. Next thing you know, you're curled up on an airport floor with a cheese sandwich. Enjoy. Anyway, let's get to it with our asshole here of the week.
Here we go.
Let's talk about, we're going back in time a little bit in a very fun way. This is a 70s football player, 70s and 80s. So these are the most fun. Everything was insane. This is like he's on the team on the Cowboys with like Hollywood Henderson when he's snorting coke. It's a wild scene here. So we'll talk about Harvey Martin. Don't know if you know of Harvey Martin, but he was a huge, giant star in the 70s for the Cowboys when the Cowboys were world champions and such. So Harvey Banks Martin. Banks is his middle name. I don't think we've ever encountered that before. That's probably mother's maiden name. That's maybe kind of an old school thing to do.
Fucking rad.
Because he's born in 1950, November 16th, 1950, and he's from Dallas, Texas. So playing for the Cowboys was good for him.
Cool.
He's got cool nicknames, too.
Really?
Number one is the beautiful Harvey Martin, which he calls himself. And then they call him Too Mean because he played next to Ed Too Tall Jones.
Oh, so very cool.
Too Tall and Too Mean were on the same defensive line. So that's how they pulled that off, which is pretty fun. So, born 1950 in Dallas. Big-ass guy, by the way, 6'5", 260. I mean, he's one of these guys that was kind of like ahead of his time when it came to physicality and size. And he could play today. No problem. Not a lot of the guys from the 60s and 70s had the size, just the mass to be able to play in this game because, we're on HGH now and they're not. Back then was a big part of it. So a little bit different. So, big-ass guy here. We'll talk a lot about him. He was the Super Bowl co-MVP. That's why I thought maybe
co-MVP.
Yeah, co-MVP. I believe so. We'll get into it later on, though. So he's had a very good career. Anyway, his mother, her name is Helen Martin. We'll talk about that. And she's got a sister named Mary. And he grew up with around just the women, basically.
Oh.
So, everybody said they were both strong, caring, and domineering is what we're told here. Yeah. From 50 years in the future, 70 years in the future.
Whatever the fuck that meant back then.
Yeah, I guess everybody mothered him. Every woman around him mothered him and kept him just like he was a little teddy bear. Yeah, insulated from everything. He would spend summers with his grandmother outside of Dallas, and it was a lot different. And he just, I don't know, man. He had a weird childhood. It sounds like
But was his grandmother married to his grandfather still, or was this just another female-dominated household?
I think that's what we're talking about here. I don't hear a lot about men in this guy's life as a child. He said that his grandmother would say, "You are my baby. You are so pretty." She would tell him.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of us. He'd spend the rest of the year in Dallas, and he would go with his mom while she went to scrub floors because that was her job.
To her job,
Yeah, so there's that. So I guess he never really had a guy around in his early years, and then later on, no guys around at all. Wow. His sister says she remembers a story about him, quote, He took this is the guy, his father, I guess. He took Harvey to the barber shop once, then walked out and left him there.
At the barber shop?
At the barber shop, just left him. Took him to get the haircut, but didn't complete the task of then
bringing him home,
paying for it and bringing him home, which is really a big part of when you take a kid somewhere.
What's the matter? I took him to get a haircut. You left him there and didn't pay.
It's like anybody can just, put you on a plane and say you're going somewhere, but then you actually have to take off and land in the place that you said you were going. That's the difference. You can't just say, that. So,
and you got to have a ticket.
His dad was basically Delta Airlines. Yeah. Take you halfway there and leave you there and walk away and say, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. And that's that.
His dad dropped him at the airport and then didn't give him a ticket.
No ticket. Just there he is. Nope, I took him. He got there. Wow, that's wild. Helen would be big, his mom, into religion. Super into religion. And it's Dallas, too, so it's got a little bit of a Christian-y vibe there. You know what I mean? If you've been to Dallas here. Obviously. So she said, quote, this is his mother, quote, we churched that boy to death.
Well,
churched. A past tense verb? I've never heard churched said in a past tense verb.
It's one way to keep a boy out of trouble is to church the shit out of him.
Churched him up. We churched him up good, boy. I'll tell you something. We churched that boy to death. Yeah. That is fucking amazing. He became the president of the ushers and the youth department and the choir as well.
And the choir.
He's huge, too, so I feel like they're just like, I guess he's in charge. If you're all the other kids, maybe.
We're going by size now.
That's how kids are, though.
Yeah.
If one kid's like enormous, they're like, I guess let him be in charge. I mean,
he can do it if he wants.
Because you have like a parental model of who's in charge. The biggest person's in charge. The oldest person's in charge. That's how it is when you're a kid. What are you,
Generally,
9?
Yeah.
Well, you're in charge of the 7-year-old then. That's how it works.
Kids in prison, same way.
Yeah, it's the same shit. You've been here longer. We trust you more.
It's you.
You do that. So when he's away from the house, at his grandmother's house, he had huge ears, I guess.
Oh.
His mother said, quote, or his grandmother said, they used to be outstanding ears.
What does that mean?
They were out here. She would flap her hands out and say, they were out here saying hi.
Outstanding. That's what she means. They were out there standing.
Outstanding. Yeah, she didn't mean like great. She meant they were standing out here saying hi. He had to grow into them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. His mother said he was very tall, all legs, just like me. Harvey hated his height. He'd kind of stoop down.
Yeah, I've noticed that about tall kids early in life.
Yeah, because you feel... Because everybody comments on it, and it's
right.
And other like adults think you're older than the other kids, and they treat you like you're some kind of weirdo.
You're the first one that people look at every time. In a group of kids.
Out. Yeah, you stand out. Yeah, that's I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's something that you see, especially girls. You see that a lot. Tall, young girls, you see them stoop over a lot because they want to be not. They kind of want to blend in. I think more
not seen. Right.
Yeah, well, you'll see boys a little more. Often stick their fucking chests out when they're bigger and be like, I'll beat up you people,
all of you.
Yeah, because when you're a young boy, whoever can beat the other one up is like a weird, that's kind of the hierarchy. There's nothing else to go on. Nobody has any money. You've done nothing in your life that you could brag about, or you don't have any awards or any successes.
You've seen a naked woman.
You're all, nobody here has ever, you wouldn't even know what to do with it if you saw it in the 3rd grade. You go, whoa, gross, you know what I mean? Or weird, or what's that?
Why is it so wet?
What's happening right now? So, I don't know. It's a little bit different. So he's got the ear problem, and that's fun. All legs, he said, I guess he had his jaw was big.
No.
He had a really bad underbite.
Yeah.
So he could, basically his underbite was so bad he could close his mouth and put a toothpick between his teeth and go back and forth. It wouldn't scrape. You know what I mean? That's really weird.
Too big.
Here.
Yeah.
But he found out that he couldn't eat things that he had to like bite with his front teeth, like pizza, stuff like that. He couldn't like eat it because he couldn't get his front teeth together because he had such a bad underbite there. So a girl laughed at him one day and said, quote, your teeth don't come together when you laugh. So then he began covering his face when he laughed. So now he's stooped over with a hand over his face all the time. So that's rough. And he's got giant ears, which he can't cover. long legs, underbite, giant ears. You know what I'm saying? This is not a good.
He's just, oh my gosh, he's got everything that you don't want.
The kids gave him a nickname. This is not a great nickname. They called him, quote, Monkey Bear. Not in a not in a loving way. Not like, hey, you're my little monkey bear. Like maybe you'd call your dog, he's my little monkey bear. So, nothing like
He's
that.
got all the pieces of everything.
Yeah, they go, yo, monkey bear. And they'd fucking make fun of him.
Got a little bit of monkey, a little bit of bear. Come here, sir.
You're big, but you're hunched over. You got the underbite like a monkey. So that's why they
were. The ears of a monkey.
Yeah, that's what they're calling him. So
poor bastard.
One thing about kids, they're going to see what you got, and they're going to tell you. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
They're not going to, they have no subtlety or anything. Look at him. Looks like a monkey. A little bit like a bear, too. Yo, monkey bear. That's just, that's children.
Right on the nose. Sorry about it.
That's it. That's all they have. Like I said, that's why they're so cruel to each other, because there's no other markers of life. It's observational stuff
based on appearance or some dumb mistake you made, and now that's what you are.
Yeah, rather than cars when you get older.
Yeah.
You get a car and you go, well, my car's nicer than his. Fuck him.
Right.
Or whatever you're into. If you're materialistic, it's that, or whatever the thing is. I'm happier than him. My fucking whatever your thing is.
Well,
when you're
your
a kid,
kids are ugly, so
you're all the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
You all barely read, so there's nothing to brag about. No one's got anything on anybody else.
All right on the surface.
Right on the surface. So poor little monkey bear was very upset. And he said, quote, I didn't have friends. I was always alone.
Jesus Christ.
Poor kid, man. His sister, though, the year younger than him, sister here, she was apparently like the prettiest girl in school. And also very popular, and everybody liked her, and she's like perfect. And then she's got this guy. Yeah, it didn't quite work out the same.
What the fuck?
She would stick up for him all the time.
Okay.
As well. She said once they were walking to school, and an older boy who was much smaller than Harvey kept taunting Harvey, fucking with him. So he kept taking it. He said Harvey kept taking it, and then his sister started fighting the kid. Mary.
Oh.
She started fighting the boy. She's like, I'll fight him. Fuck it. She said, quote, Harvey just stood there the whole time watching. I won, and then he told me I did a really good job. Good job, sis. Hey, Monkey Bear, you want to give me a hand here? Jesus Christ. What do I have to do to stir up some rage in this fella? Holy fuck.
Great job.
Your younger
really
sister?
Proud of you. Yeah.
It's good that she won, though. Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, quote, he was like a son to me, even though I was younger.
That's so terrible.
What the hell's happening, Harvey?
He's got no confidence. He doesn't like the way he looks, and there's no dad telling him that he's fine.
And his sister has the confidence that he lacks. So confidence also can give you a couple years of, something when you're a kid. You seem older when you're confident. So, he's got a problem here, obviously. He didn't like being outside also very much. He hated outdoor type of things, like when he starts getting older and he wants to get a job. He didn't do outdoor physical labor, so he got a job after school washing dishes at a department store restaurant.
Oh.
So he was supposed to cut the grass at his house, so instead he didn't like doing that, so he would give a guy $5 to cut the grass for him. At his house from his dishwashing money. So he made $40 a week and spent $5 of it on the lawn.
So he makes $35 a week.
So he didn't have to do it. Which he said, what is my time worth?
Yeah.
You know what? This $5 is better spent here.
That's a goddamn leader. That's delegation.
Feel like that's smart. That's delegating. Yeah. Exactly. That's delegating. That's smart. Like in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Oh, my God. You delegated. Very good, Harvey. His boss at the restaurant would go around the kitchen asking each different boy if he could work late when he needed to stay longer. And he said when he came to Harvey, he would say, Harvey, I'll call your mother. And all the boys would laugh. Oh. I don't know why.
Well, she's picking me up, you guys. How about you not make fun of me about that?
That would be fucking nice there. So I guess when he was in grade school, his mother got married to a guy named Sylvester Martin, who was kind of a street guy. And, that sort of thing. They would argue, I guess, because they would argue over Harvey, the couple.
Oh.
Yeah, because he was saying you're babying him and you're overprotective, and she would say, don't tell me how to raise my child, and how any argument would go at that point.
The general stepfather, stepmother argument.
Yeah. So they argued that. Apparently Harvey finally stood up for himself and screamed at them, stop arguing. He was like, don't fucking fight. So I don't know. He finally blew up at one point. He went to
everybody leave me out of this.
Leave me out of it. Monkey boy out. I'm fucking done with this shit. So he attended 8 different schools in Dallas because this was the time of integration. So they were trying to move people around to different places to have some people somewhere and some of others. And so that's how that was working. In the first 2 weeks of his sophomore year, right when he started 10th grade, somebody, I guess, he saw a schoolmate pull a man off a bus and beat him with a crutch. Okay. I don't know why. So he thought that was at one of the schools he went to. So he thought that was kind of different.
Frightening, yeah.
Yeah, frightening for him. I guess somebody wanted to fight him after class, and so he just transferred schools rather than fight the guy. Meanwhile, he's enormous, by the way. Yeah. He's goddamn enormous.
He's like Big Mike. I mean, you know what I mean? He's Michael Orr in The Blind Side, where he's like just timid.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, being very capable, probably, of beating the living shit out of these children.
Crush you. Yeah. Very strong, very agile. No
idea.
We'll talk about it. But he doesn't. And a lot of times, too, when someone's like that, but they're big, that's what sports is good for, because sports can help give them confidence. You know what I mean? If somebody like that. But he wasn't playing sports at this point, really. So that was the problem, is he doesn't have any of that till later on. Sylvester's a truck driver for the city, and then I guess he would go to like the driving range and hang out at the golf course all night, which is strange. And they said even if he was home for dinner, he wouldn't even eat with the family. Like he'd go in another room or something. It's very strange. Like they said, he'd give the kids money to buy a kite, but he wouldn't go out and fly it with them. He'd be like, I'm doing go buy your kite and go fucking do that shit, but I'm not interested in doing it with you, which is just a 60s dad. That sounds like a 60s dad.
Yeah.
Don Draper wasn't
kite.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I mean. He gave his job in the 60s, they told men, your job is to be the provider.
Right.
Your job is have the roof over the house, pay the bills.
Yep.
Have that all done. Have everybody have food, money to give your wife to buy stuff and your kids and all that shit, and everything else. That's not your problem. That's kind of what they told guys back then.
Yeah. The idea of quality time came much later.
Yeah.
This is like, you guys have a kite? Yeah, my dad bought it for me. Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Also, why do you need a father to show you how to fly a kite? What are you, simple?
That's and kids back then, they didn't expect their parents to fucking fly kites with them. That's the other part.
Yeah.
If in
the quality time bit,
1963,
that came 87. Shit.
No, parents expected you to make mixed drinks for them when you were a child back then. Like, it was a different relationship. You were
make me a mixed drink, then take this kite and go run.
Yeah, go
until
shut
it
up.
gets in the sky. Yeah.
Back then, they would have like they'd have like friends over for dinner parties. The kids weren't allowed on the floor that the party was happening on. Basement or your room. Those are your options. I don't want to see you for the next 5 fucking hours because I'm getting drunk with other adults. And the kids were like, oh, don't bother mom and dad.
Yeah.
That would be considered child abuse now if you did that.
If you put a kid in their room and secluded them, that's jail, you guys.
They'd put all the whoever was at the dinner party, all of their kids of varying ages and interests, and then just throw them all in a basement, and they'd order them a pizza and say, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear from you until your parents can get you. And you weren't allowed. That was it.
But that's what you do in prison. You just put them in a room and give them food.
Yeah, exactly.
That's prison.
We're getting drunk up here. Leave us alone.
So I have to be in prison?
Kinda, yeah.
It's 5 hours, man. Relax.
Tussle their hair. That's being a kid. That's childhood, little guy.
Yeah.
So they said that Helen, the mother, would try to do all that kind of stuff because she would kind of doted on the kids, it seems like. Mary said to us, my mother was the water, the food, the worker, the healer, and the defender.
Oh,
Mom was everything. That's what the younger sister said. But he still wanted a father figure. He wanted to do that. He was trying to be like somebody. He wanted to have a male figure. He liked Sylvester and wanted it to be a part of his life, but Sylvester really just didn't seem to have much interest in the kid. One day here, junior year of high school, Sylvester came home and said, quote, "All my buddies have sons playing football or some other sport. My boy's bigger than all of them, and he doesn't do nothing."
Oh, at least he called him his boy.
He called him his boy. That's good.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boy, they all have sons, and my boy doesn't do shit, so he considers him his son. That's nice. Like I said, back then, ignoring your kid wasn't considered bad.
Right.
Is there a roof over his head? Are there lights on so he can do his homework? Shut the fuck up then.
Consider him not ignored.
That's it. Yeah, you go on a vacation once a year, go to the shore on a weekend during the summer. Like, that was it. You provided. That's all.
Yeah.
The yard is mowed. Shut the fuck up. So 1967 is his junior year, and he transferred to South Oak Cliff High School, which was the first integrated high school in Dallas. 2 weeks into the preseason football practice, he tried out. He was the last player to try out.
Really?
They let him try out anyway. They said he was handed the last helmet and pair of shoes, and he's huge, and the shoes were a size too small, and the helmet was the shittiest helmet they had, and had an uncovered screw on the inside of it.
Oh, my God.
That drilled a hole into his forehead.
Wow.
Yeah, so he practiced for 2 days with blood pouring down his face from his forehead, and his feet completely blistered and fucked up from wearing size too small shoes, and he didn't complain. He didn't do anything. And then he asked a coach, "Is this just the way football players live? Like, they all have screws in their helmets and shoes that don't fit?" Yeah. And they said, "Oh, Jesus Christ, we didn't realize." And so they got him.
Had no idea.
Yeah, they got him. They got him new stuff here. So they didn't. It wasn't even because he had any talent at the time, too, to let him on the team. Is that also they just integrated, and they were trying to get some black kids on the team too, and they were trying to integrate. But one of the school's line coach said, "We were actually trying to get rid of him. I told the team Harvey looked like a dying calf in a hailstorm."
What does that mean?
Jesus, I guess not walking well, unsure of himself, about to die. I have no idea.
Blow after blow from the hail. I don't know.
About to fall to the ground dead. Fuck. They said they buried him in the depth chart at defensive tackle and waited for him to quit. And he hated football and he wanted to quit, but he kept doing it anyway.
Oh.
The thing about Harvey is he'll just keep doing shit. I don't know. I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. And he just does it. So he says, "I must have had things inside me I don't know about." That's, one of that coach who was talking said, "We beat one team 77-7. He might have gotten that game." Like, they would put him in it only at pure garbage time. They'd let him play. So
11 touchdowns? Jesus.
So none of the good players would get hurt.
Yeah.
So one day his sister saw him running punishment laps after practice for fucking something up. When he was done, he came over to the car, and they drove. He got in the door, and he slammed on the steering wheel, and he said, "They said I didn't hit the blocking sled hard enough. Heck, I didn't want to hit it. It hit me back." So he didn't like the violence of it.
Yeah.
He wasn't that aggressive physically to plow through that kind of thing.
He's a nice kid.
He's a nice kid. They went 9-1 that year. He's a backup lineman and only played, like I said, in complete garbage time.
Yeah.
They said they figured he wouldn't come back for a senior year, and that was that. And they said, quote, this is what the coach said he told to Harvey, "If you don't beat out Philip Bangs for the starting job next year, you're going to be the laughingstock of the coaching staff, or I'll be the laughingstock," meaning the coach will be. Yeah. You couldn't coach this guy. So, and the guy behind him, I guess this Philip Bangs, was a Golden Gloves boxing champ, Philip Bangs is a great name for a guy who punches you in the face.
Yeah, it is.
That's terrific, right?
Phil Bangs?
Phil Bangs. And then you could make anything else after that. Phil Bangs broads. Phil does this.
Phil Bangs everything.
It's like Bo Knows, except Phil Bangs. If he was real popular, he could have had commercials. Phil Bangs redheads. Phil Bangs brunettes. Phil Bangs blondes, too. Phil Bangs dudes. He don't care.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit,
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Phil will bag anything.
Phil just bangs, guys.
Phil just bangs. So Harvey just said, okay, that's fine. And he said, quote, I began to play a role after that. I began to play to become a football player. And by the third game of his senior year, he was a starter. And by the end of the season, the team wins the Dallas City Championship, and he's the best lineman on the team by then.
Really?
Yep. He was skinny at the time, and he just started playing well, so no college looked at him at all. Nobody was interested in him. So his coach ended up calling the offensive line coach at East Texas State University, which
nice place.
Nice place. That feels like a lot of the class. They play basketball outside. That feels like their team doesn't have like an indoor gym. Yeah, it's outside. So it's at like an elementary school fucking playground they play. And said you should offer this Martin kid a scholarship. He could play and he's developing physically and he could be good for you. So he does that. And he ends up going there in 1969. This is in Commerce, Texas, which is a very small town 60 miles northeast of Dallas.
Jesus.
And, yeah, apparently he was, that sounds slow, It's also it's also a dry town, too.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, other countries, we got to explain to, like, Australians, because they're like, what now? What? Like
no rain, huh?
No booze is what that means. Still left over from Prohibition. Those people haven't started selling booze again from 100 years ago.
Right.
And they're not gonna anytime soon.
So somebody doesn't believe they can handle it.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So he would live at home during his summers away from college, and they said his mother had a 1 a.m. curfew for him, even though he was
even though she could never tell if he was there or not.
And he's an adult also. He's like 20 years old at that point. So he never went. He didn't go to a nightclub till he was in the NFL.
Really?
Never went because he's just in this small town in Texas with no booze.
If we're
even.
being honest, he's missing nothing.
That's true. Yeah, no shit.
He doesn't know it, but he's missing nothing.
In his first 2 years of college, Dwight White, who used to be a Pittsburgh Steeler defensive end, was his roommate, and he said Harvey was 1,000% different than now, meaning in the NFL. Yeah. He was a big baby Huey. He was so gentle, small guys used him as an ego builder. Take his name even, Harvey. It's not exactly a thundering name. Guys would push him around, and he felt so bad about himself, it was easy to embarrass him. Everybody borrowed money off him. He was more or less a chump.
What?
They just, took his noodles in prison. They just completely punked him. Everybody would just punk him.
All the time?
Yep, that's very fucking strange. So Dwight White gets drafted, and once Dwight White gets drafted by the Steelers, he comes back to college after Harvey's sophomore season, flashing some $100 bills around because now he's got drafted by the NFL. Yeah. So he's showing them, hey, look at this. I'm doing well. And that's when Harvey went, whoa, hold on a minute. If I kick people's asses, I can flash around $100 bills and have money.
That? Yeah.
And he was like, yeah. And he was like, all right. And White said he got a glimpse of paradise. Money is a remarkable motivator.
It sure is.
And that's what he does. So his first 2 years, he doesn't do shit in college. Basically, by the end of it, he's the best defensive end in school history. And
all it took was a wad of cash of somebody else's money.
They win the national title, like the Division IIA national title here. He is the NAIA All-American, All-Texas, and All-LSC teams. In his senior year, he was an NAIA All-America defensive end and all that sort of shit. So he started going, I'm going to get that money, and started practicing his autograph in his senior year because he's like, I'm going to have to sign these. Yeah, people are going to want that. He does have a son at this point. Okay, born to a Dallas woman during college here. His name is DeVincent Robertson Martin.
DeVincent.
D-E Vincent.
Like Saint DePaul.
Yes, DeVincent. Yeah, you know, Jimmie is a good name. That's what you were almost named, I know. You told me that, right? You were this close to being Jimmie.
What year was this?
This is 1969 or 1972, probably.
Fascinating.
71. DeVincent Robertson Martin, raised by the boy's mother, and Harvey really didn't participate too much. But this DeVincent would say later on that Harvey, quote, he's a good person. So I mean, he wasn't too mad at him. So he was one of the most recognized names in the history of Texas A&M University Commerce, which I think is different than regular Texas A&M, right?
It's probably the only recognizable name.
Maybe. He was inducted into its Hall of Fame in 1987 also, which isn't bad. In 2008, they started hosting the Harvey Martin Classic, where the school's football team plays against another team from their Lone Star Conference there. So he's one of the greatest players in the history of, lower level college football.
Sure.
Nowadays, after 2 good games, he would want to transfer to a bigger school.
Yeah, so you get drafted.
Which is fine. I understand
Understood,
it. It's all your business. I'm just saying, like, that was how back then you just sat in commerce and you played. That was it.
Wow.
So as a senior here, he was selected to, I guess they won a national title that year, and he was an NAIA All-American, like I said. And then the 1973 draft comes around. Jimmie, first pick in the 1973 NFL draft. Hit me with it.
It was Terry Bradshaw.
No, I think that was 72, actually.
Oh, I was close?
I think you were close here. But John Matuzak, who you know of, he's a crazy big guy, and I believe he is Sloth as well from Goonies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
He was the number 1 draft pick?
Number 1 draft pick overall. He was a bad dude, man. He was a badass. And then
who did he get drafted by?
Houston. Originally, Houston. Baltimore picked Burt Jones, the quarterback, for a while.
Oh, yeah.
John Hanna, number 4, Hall of Famer. That's a New England Patriots offensive lineman, Hall of Famer. Right. Chuck Foreman later on in that draft. I'm looking for guys people might know. Ray Guy. That was the year that Oakland selected a punter in the first round, but a Hall of Famer.
Pick number 11. You're going to be blown away.
Fuck, I mean, not bad at all. So we go here, second round. Who's number 11?
I don't know.
No. I was like, I don't know who number 11 is.
I don't know who anybody was drafted in any slot in 1973.
No, who the
I
fuck
would have no fucking clue.
I wasn't sure that. I did know that Oakland selected a punter, and it was a big deal back then. I didn't know it was 73. I knew it was back in the day, and it was Ray Guy, and he's in the Hall of Fame. But whatever. Second round here. Who's in this draft? God, there's a bunch of people, I believe. Is it Ron Jaworski? Yeah, Ron Jaworski in the second round. Yeah, he's drafted by the Rams in the second round. Guys like that. Not a lot of guys here really that big. The 73 draft doesn't look to be a real powerhouse draft.
Did Ron he's a Hall of Famer, yes?
I don't think Ron's in the Hall of
Fame.
He
may not
be. Let me check. I don't know if he is or not. Now we have to know. Yeah. Ron Jaworski is not a Hall of Famer.
How about that?
Not a Hall of Famer.
Phillies? I mean, Eagles. Right?
Eagles, absolutely. Yeah, Eagles. He was drafted by the Rams, but became famous with the Eagles. Third round, pick 53, the Dallas Cowboys select Harvey Martin. So
how about it?
Not bad. Yeah, so his hometown team, grew up in Dallas, went to school 60 miles out of there. They pick him up, and I don't know if maybe that's part of it.
I wonder if his stepfather's friends' kids made it to the fucking NFL, sir.
Go to the NFL, mister? Get drafted by the Cowboys?
Right.
Maybe?
Goddamn local team.
Later on in that round, number 3, or in the third round, number 64, so 11 picks later, the Chargers selected Hall of Famer Dan Fouts after that.
Oh.
So there were some people available there. Oh. He was jacked. He wanted it because now his family and friends are always going to see his games.
Yeah.
And people called him the beautiful Harvey Martin for his smile, and he had a radio show called Beautiful Harvey Martin. That was his radio show.
Not bad.
73 Cowboys.
Yeah.
They're 10-4.
Wow.
So good team. Yeah, they beat the Rams in the playoffs, lose in the conference championship to the Vikings. And, this is the old-time Cowboys. This is the Doomsday Defense and all that kind of shit. Popular team. They had the cheerleaders, Staubach at quarterback. I mean, they're a glamour team back then.
Boots and glitter, babe.
Unlike the last
Several
Cowboy.
years.
We don't want to date this ever, but in the beginning of the 2023 football season, the Cowboys had a giant blowout win over the Yankees, over the Giants. And they are all talking tons of shit for a team who has not won a fucking Super Bowl this century. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, this century. I know it felt like yesterday to you, but it wasn't. And the rest of us have really laughed at you for a long time, so shut up.
Go have a look-see at how Troy Aikman's eyes are doing.
Yeah. We'll check you out again in week 14, and we'll see if you're still
Those things
happy.
Roll around in his head like a chameleon.
Yeah. Stands there staring vacantly into the camera week after week. They wind him up, and then he just starts saying football things.
Football did that to him.
A lot. So he loved being a football player. He was digging this. He wanted to be a pass rusher. He liked hearing the applause. He liked everything. He was he said he first heard the cheers and was like, oh, they're cheering for me. This is great. When he hit the quarterback. Wow, this is fucking awesome. He also liked to do other shit here. One day he went to go see Young Frankenstein.
Is that right?
Which had just came out there. And the theater manager came up to him and said, are you Harvey Martin? Well, he was like waiting online outside to buy a ticket. And he said, yeah. And they said, well, fuck, follow me. Come on. And Harvey was like, he said, quote, I said, damn, DAAYAAM. Damn, this is worth being good. It's like,
Come right in to see Young Frankenstein.
If I play really hard, I can see Blazing Saddles fast. Like, this is going to be great.
I get VIP service to see Gene Wilder.
He just realized that there are perks to celebrity and to, like, wealth and celebrity. He's like, oh, shit, this is why people work hard and do stuff, like, on the football field and they want to be stars because, like, they get treated like gold. Holy fuck.
Wait till you find out about the girls, man.
I know. He's going to be like, whoa, hey, this one, hey. Guys, this one tried to put it in her mouth. Oh, that's good. Okay, yeah, keep going. No, keep going. Yeah, they said it was. I didn't know. I thought she was going to bite me. I didn't know what was happening.
This one tried to take a nap in my lap. That is not what she was about to do.
Oh, man. When he finally saw a picture of his in the paper, he cut it out and framed it.
Really?
He was very excited to be doing well for himself here. So he had 9 sacks in his rookie year. They didn't keep track of sacks back then, but they've gone back and retroactively kind of assigned sacks. Yeah. They could, imagine being the guy going through every single game with a scorecard marking off the sacks.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow, that's a slog right there.
And he had 9 in the first season?
9 in his first season. Which
That's
is
terrific.
Goddamn good. That's 14-game season back then, so not bad at all. He met the woman who is going to not be his wife because he never gets married. We'll find out. He'll never marry. I don't know why he will never marry, but he's with a girl throughout the whole 70s here.
Really?
Her name is Sharon Bell. So he meets her in the rookie year, and he described being fascinated with Sharon Bell. Fascinated. He said, quote, this beautiful black woman possessed all the poise and culture I lacked. She explained restaurant menus to me and wine selections and introduced me to symphonies and live theatrical productions. She taught him classy, like, this is what you do when you're rich. And he's like, oh, okay, I didn't realize. I've been eating at Arby's every night.
What did he say she taught him?
restaurant menus and wine selections and symphonies and theatrical productions.
Yeah, but she didn't explain this to you. She showed you just, the classy life.
Yeah, she showed him what to do when you have money and power.
Yeah. She showed him
you go do these things.
What else did he think happened?
I think he was just eating Arby's and going to see Young Frankenstein. I don't think he knew what the fuck you were supposed to do when you're like a wealthy, rich, popular celebrity type person, which I wouldn't fucking know either.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't know what the real rich people do. This is all just basic rich people shit. But
but I mean, just upper class people shit. This is like shit that we would when we were kids, and nobody I knew anything about wine selections or symphonies or theatrical shit either. So I get it.
About wine, I didn't know.
I knew it existed.
Yeah.
I knew my grandmother drank
I'd heard of
a bunch of it. I knew it was a popular drink in my family, but didn't really know about the different kinds.
But when I was a kid and I'd heard about wine, when they talked about pairings, they made it sound like it was really fucking difficult to figure out. It's not that goddamn hard.
You just go, that's good with that. It's real simple.
White with light shit, red with dark. It's not that hard.
And you just figure out which type you like. You like it sweeter or drier? Well, here you go.
It's that easy.
Try this and try that. Here's a Sangiovese. Here's a fucking Pinot Noir. Which one you like?
What do you like?
There you go. Not that Sangiovese's all the way on that side, but you get it. So,
you know.
Two different wines. So anyway, they say she didn't even like football.
Uh-huh.
I guess because she's classy.
No, she likes fucking opera.
Yeah, she said that she thought he was a big-hearted, earnest person, and she liked him. She said, quote, he was very sweet, very kind, sort of a calm person. What I admired was a person who was determined to be the best. If that meant staying up all night looking at films, he did it. If that meant taking speech lessons, he did that.
Wow.
So yeah, he was looking to he wanted to have a good life. He was really looking for it. So 1974, they're 8-6. They don't make the playoffs. Obviously, that's a disappointment for the Cowboys here. I guess they kept trying to make him more aggressive on the field.
Yeah.
In the NFL, no matter how aggressive you are, they tell you they want more aggression.
Right.
If you're not foaming at the mouth trying to bite people as you tackle them, they're really thinking you're kind of half-assing it. That's how coaches treat people. It is. You can never be aggressive enough. So they wanted him to be confident, tougher, get a little cockiness to you.
Yeah.
Stick your chest out and be like, that's right, bitch, look at me. Because he had all the physical talent in the world, but none of that. Yeah, check that out. Well, after the game, I'll show you my dick and really make you upset.
It's huge. Your ass out.
Yeah. So I guess eventually he would practice against Rayfield Wright, who's a future Hall of Famer.
Fuck yeah, he is.
Lineman on the team there. And he developed he'd get emotional when he'd get into it. He figured out a way to Waterboy it, basically. He's Waterboy. And he figured out a way to tap into his anger and fucking, act like think about you talking about his mama, and then he'll tackle you. That's essentially exactly what he did.
He's just a poverty-stricken sweet boy.
Yeah, just a nice kid who you got to get. He's Bobby Boucher.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he is. And they're just like, come on, Harvey.
Come on,
he said your mama did this. Oh, you're talking about my mama. And then she's going to attack.
He's too old.
So then they nicknamed him Too Mean. Mm-hmm. And by his third year, he's a full-time starter, which is good. And this year, the Cowboys are 10-4. They beat the Vikings in the playoffs. They beat the Rams in the playoffs. And then they lose the Super Bowl to the Pittsburgh Steelers that year.
Damn it.
So that's a tough one for him, obviously.
Joe Green, yeah?
But yeah, he's on that team. But he's very happy, though. Starts all 13 games, 9.5 sacks. Doing great.
Played in the Super Bowl.
Played in the Super Bowl. He's fucking excited about it. How could you be upset with him for that? So the defensive line coach said he would stare at Martin with disgust. He said, when things got tough, he'd look over at me for a way out. I told him he had to stop trying to avoid every bump and bruise. I told him he had to get mean.
Yeah.
That's right. He had to get mean, goddammit. He wanted that shit. He said he just was trying to find his fire here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's fucking having to yell at this giant guy. Come on, goddammit. You should be able to kick my ass. So
I just want to go to the movies with you.
Fuck. I guess in 76, the Cowboys had a rookie offensive tackle named Greg McGuire that said, Harvey's not strong.
Oh.
He's a rookie coming in talking shit. And so the next day, he faces up with Harvey, on the first time in a drill. And Harvey's in the three-point stance, and he did the head smack. You know, the Deacon Jones, a man or woman, that speech, the head slap. He did one of those, and he cracked him on the side of the head, and they said he was unconscious for 8 minutes, McGuire.
Oh, my God.
So he knocked him out cold
Hit
with a head
the
slap.
side of the man's helmet.
Yeah.
Knocked him out for 8 minutes.
Knocked him out for 8 minutes. That's a slap. That's a hard slap.
Boy,
that's a slap with a helmet, a football helmet on. Think about that. That's, wow.
Oh, my God.
That is crazy shit. So I guess his roommate on the road was Drew Pearson, and he said that they would watch game films on the wall of the hotel room. And Harvey would like slap the table and talk shit to himself to get himself pumped up, and he was all sorts of crazy. So he's trying to get himself mean. He knew he had to try to get himself
while
mean.
watching game film?
While watching game film in a fucking hotel on the wall.
Yeah.
Projecting it on the wall of the room.
Mad at himself for something he did.
Look at that. God damn it. Kick his ass, Harvey.
Fucking idiot.
So 76, they're 11-3, but they lose in the first round of the playoffs to the Rams. So
wow.
That's not good, I guess. But Harvey, 14 and a half sacks that year.
Holy shit.
He's a bad, bad man. Pro Bowler, not too shabby at all. All Pro, Pro Bowl, all that shit. So he's really good. This is when he gets, to be a real popular guy. 77, here they are 12-2, the Cowboys are. And they beat the Bears in the playoffs. They beat the Vikings in the playoffs and then go against the Broncos to the Super Bowl. And this was Hollywood Henderson snorting fucking coke on the field out of his inhaler, liquid cocaine, and all that kind of shit. Offensive coordinator here, Dan Reeves, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah, a little something for your
that?
Bronco
For the
fans
Cowboys?
out there. For the Cowboys, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cowboys, that's how you get to be a head coach. You have an offensive, offensive coordinator of a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, helps to have Roger Staubach too, but or John Elway.
Wish old Dan would have translated that shit into victories in Denver. That son of a bitch.
Well, won plenty. Got to the Super Bowl a lot, just not that.
Didn't get that one that matters.
No. It was better than what he did with the Giants. He was a fucking disaster there. So that was a mess. So in 77, Tony Dorsett was drafted, which I know another Bronco connection there. And Martin said, shit, at that point, he said, we drafted Dorsett. We won the Super Bowl. He said, all the eyes are on me. Yeah. He said, people are going to watch us and all that. And he's like, people need to look at the beautiful Harvey Martin.
Yeah.
Starts getting this weird ego now.
Wow.
Yeah, now he really starts getting this weird ego. And at this point in 77, this is the thing, because it's not officially tallied at the time. So they said in 77 he had 20 sacks. But we don't know,
The record was just like 18 recently.
Well, in 77, some people say that he had 23 sacks.
Oh.
But officially they have him listed on Football Reference as 20. But if a lot of other sources will say he had 23 sacks that year. So
was it 22 and a half? I don't remember.
22 and a half is the record. Strahan.
It is now? Okay.
Yeah, it's Strahan now, but they said that 23 was whatever. So either way, he's the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, All-Pro, Pro Bowl, all everything, Super Bowl champion. Wow. You fucking name it. I mean, just, every accolade a guy could get for playing on the defensive line.
He finished football.
He's killing it. Yeah, he's killing it. So here's from an article that's published later in Sports Illustrated from 83. They talk about the Cowboys going to the Super Bowl, and all week before the Super Bowl, Martin was telling the media, quote, I dream of security.
Okay.
Weird thing. He said, being black and growing up in America, let's face it, I have to move when I can because when I'm not Harvey Martin, all league, it could be tough. I think of Dwayne Thomas. When he was a star with the Cowboys, people bragged that they knew him. Then he got caught with some grass, and it was like he didn't exist. That was a sad tale, Dwayne Thomas. He got caught with like an eighth of weed, and his complete NFL career over.
Destroyed him.
He was done. Like, it was a fucking disaster. It's the stupidest fucking thing ever. So Harvey said that he when they announced that he and Randy White were the co-MVPs of the Super Bowl, which was another defensive lineman. Yeah, Randy White. So he said it was the best feeling he ever had. being the biggest game and all that shit. He was the Defensive Player of the Year, like I said, a consensus All-Pro selection. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's got MVP trophy. They gave him a commercial for Orange Crush.
Oh,
beat the Broncos.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. He had a Mercedes-Benz. He got a big Cadillac Eldorado.
Oh.
He's got endorsements, personal appearances. He's doing local commercials, and everybody just
horns on it.
Can't wait. Oh, big ones, Boss Hog horns. Everybody can't wait to stuff money into Harvey's pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Women want his dick. It's just a wild thing, and he's got Sharon Bell at home. He's very happy.
Sure.
So very happy here. He's still got the jaw though, the underbite.
Oh, really?
He grew a big beard to cover the underbite here. But then after the Super Bowl, he got his jaw fixed.
Oh.
He went and got surgery on his jaw. They cut a half inch out of each side of his jaw and reset it.
Shortened it?
Shortened it, reset it. Had to do all of that. They had to break and reset the bones and clamp braces on his teeth and a wire and all this shit.
Jesus.
Yep. And then he said after that, now life's going to be a breeze, though. Now he can eat pizza again.
Okay, yeah.
But he had to eat from a straw for 2 months.
Sure.
He went from 260 to 214 pounds at that point. And coaches were like, hey, you might want to.
We need you to be big.
How are you going to be like full physical strength by training camp, be like 260 and ready to blast through people here? So it's very strange here. He said that he had a friend save him a seat in the back of movie theaters, and then she would rush out to his car and tell him the house lights were out, and then he could sneak in. Okay. So he didn't want anybody to see him at that point.
Yeah.
When the 2 days after the wires came off, he's filming commercials, doing all that sort of shit, and being a big fucking smile and all that, and just yay, he's got a Super Bowl ring on, and that's when he gets the beautiful Harvey Martin show.
Okay.
Awesome shit. He says, quote, I was a rude, inconsiderate bastard to Sharon. I lost all touch with reality.
Getting his jaw fixed, he just became a cunt.
Well, he won the Super Bowl, got his jaw fixed. He became, like a national obsession and got his jaw fixed, and people loved him and all this shit, and he felt more confident all at the same time.
Wow.
And he went from Bobby Boucher to like a bad guy in an 80s movie out of nowhere. He's a bully and a dick.
He became actually pretty, and he's a jerk to everybody.
Oh, yeah. He said the women loved him, and all these women would gather around him and giggle at everything he said and all that sort of shit. And
he forgot.
Yep, well, that's it. But he said he would say this always to himself. Well, what are you going to do when your football career's over, Harv?
Yeah.
Then what? So he told himself, without football, Harvey Martin is nothing. And he said, I remember, having nothing, so he started to invest a whole bunch. He wanted to invest his money and make more money. He said, when you're a pro football player, you can't take it slow. You might get hurt. You might get left out. Your name might be gone. So, yeah. In 1973, he had lost $5,000 buying a piece of land that turned out to be at the bottom of a lake. Someone sold him lake bottom land. So he just owns a section of land in the middle of a lake.
He didn't do a drive-by and look at this property?
They said it's in a lake, and he went, oh, man, I'm going to buy this property. It's on a lake. He didn't get the in and the on. I think he just blew past it. I'm pretty sure.
They just sold him like longitude and latitude.
Yeah, you own a square of lake. Well, it's under 30 feet of water, but it's in the middle out there. So if this ever dries up, you're gonna have a prime spot right in the middle.
Very forward thinking. In 2043, it's gonna be dry.
Oh yeah, Lake Ray Hubbard in Texas. It's probably dry now.
Yeah, you might be right.
Because the fucking river in Austin was dry this summer.
Yeah,
so that used to be a big flowing river. So I don't know. So he lost another $20,000 when a couple of sapphires that he was going to invest in. He invested in a couple of sapphires, big sapphires that were allegedly worth $350,000.
Okay, so
but he's going to get them for $20,000.
Yeah,
and it turned out to be not sapphires and just paperweights, just fake rocks that you give your kid to play with. Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
He also lost $10,000 on a nightclub called The Balls.
Yeah.
The Balls is what it's called. The stinky nutsack. Come on in, everybody.
In the 70s, the balls was like a great thing, and that's embarrassing.
The balls.
How fast did that go away? The balls was not a good thing anymore.
The fact that he was a part owner, I bet it was fucking sports themed, though.
Yeah,
you're
probably
right. Sports themed nightclub, just because. Pictures of him all over the place, that sort of shit. It burnt down anyway, so that didn't work out well.
They didn't have insurance to get our money back. God damn it!
I mean,
we forgot that one.
What kind of a cocky fucking insures their balls? You know what I mean? So, in '76, he invested in a barbecue restaurant named Smoky John's. That's fine. In '78, he opened a nightclub called Lucifer's. That's folksy and quaint.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lucifer's.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
And a restaurant named Recipes, which is that sounds like a restaurant name now. It would be one word, stupid, annoying. These were both in Dallas. In '79, he opened a restaurant in Irving named Smokey's Express. Okay. And in 1980, he bought a block of renovated restaurants and office spaces in San Antonio and a second Smokey's Express in Dallas. And then in '81, a second Smoky John's. Okay. And then another restaurant called The Rib Cage in El Paso.
Who forgot to tell him that restaurants are a horrible way to lose a whole bunch of money?
Very, very. What are the worst ways I can throw? Nightclubs, restaurants, yes.
That's all he's doing.
This is what sports figures do because they go, what do I know about? I'm either on the football field or I'm at a restaurant or a nightclub. So they feel like they know those things and they get into them. And also, it's more fun.
Yeah.
You can have like an industrial paving company where that's where the money is if you wanted to invest something or some shit like some boring business that you don't even know what it is, but that's no fun.
Right. Something that sells a product that takes effort, whereas this, any fucking asshole can sell a bottle of booze.
And it's fun. You're going to come in and people, hey, there's Harvey. And he can he can, you know what? That's on me, guys. Hey, Harvey's the best. And he can eat and drink and fuck girls and, finger the waitresses. It's 1970s. That's what they're thinking. Rather than you want to go hang out in a paving yard and,
not finger anybody?
Not finger a guy named Sal who comes in, always has half a sandwich in his hand.
Skid marks in his underwear.
You want me to send these guys out on a job or what? Come over here, Sal.
Bend over.
Sal, I'm just gonna run my finger around your belly button for a minute, Sal, because it's pointing right at me, and I think it just winked at me. I gotta have a poke. How
really
deep does your belly
flat
button
ass of yours, Sal?
Yeah, Sal. The way your jeans hang off your ass because it's non-existent really is pretty sexy to me. I gotta be honest with you.
I've always wanted to look and see what's not under there.
Come on, Sal. Let's explore each other's bodies, Sal. Let's go. Sal and the monkey bear. Let's do this.
Just short butt crack. Let's have a look at it.
Come on. Let's see how far that butt crack goes down. What do you say? So
your pants fall down, but your ass crack never falls out. It's crazy.
I don't know how you do it, but I'm curious to find out. Is it tape? What is it? He also bought 3 houses and a bunch of real estate that was on dry land, which is helpful. That's okay. He was good. He'd be in TV personalities and all that. And but he's doing commercials and he's being beautiful Harvey Martin. He's doing all this shit. He doesn't really have time to go over books and, do businessy stuff. That's boring.
Sure.
No one wants to do that. That's boring, So he would write a check and drop it in a mailbox on the way somewhere and doing his shit, and then he'd go off to an appearance, make $1,000. Sometimes he'd do shit for nothing. He's just spending money and didn't know what he was really spending it on or how much was coming in, or
oh my god,
just figured it was all fine. He would spend time with kids at the Special Olympics kids.
Okay.
He'd spend all day doing stuff with that. He'd referee games and sign autographs, and then he'd do that for 12 to 14 hours.
Sure.
And all sorts of shit like that. He's a nice guy. People like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said he liked to watch cartoons and drink Kool-Aid. He loved Wile E. Coyote. Had a big giant Wile E. Coyote stuffed animal in his bedroom.
Oh, no.
He said, why you like him? And he said he's the one who kept coming back no matter how many times he would get fucked up. He kept coming back.
Great point.
He perseveres. Well, yeah,
excellent point.
He can blow himself up and then plummet down a cliff, and then the next day he's ordering something else. Yeah.
And you know why he did that? It's because tomorrow they need another show. Of course he's coming
like,
back.
I gotta work. It's like, why are we recording this today after we were both of us should probably be resting today, and instead we're like, no.
We'll do it again.
It's not like we're running around the block. We're just talking. We'll do it. Like
2
idiots.
roadrunners.
Fuck it. Let's do it. So in June of 1978, a friend picked him up at the airport and said the IRS had called while you were away. Guy was staying at his house.
God.
For the 1977 tax year, he only filed his personal return. His corporate return, which should have reported income of approximately $45,000 from radio stuff and all this other shit, he never filed anything.
Okay.
So he says his accountant, who had all of his earnings sent to him and who mailed Harvey 3 monthly statements on how it had been dispersed, admitted the oversight and took the blame, and Martin agreed to pay up immediately and blah, blah, blah. So the government, though, began to audit past returns and decided that he owed like $250,000.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so now they threatened him with jail with this if he didn't pay up like immediately. So... it's not good. And then they said Cowboys equipment managers started handing him messages when he'd walk out of meetings. Call Lucifer's, call Smokey John's, call the bank here. He's covers and people not paying the money they need for their bills coming in, and this distributor's not bringing any more meat unless we pay him. So they said he would walk onto the practice field worried about a broken heater in the nightclub or the fact that there's short staff at Smokey John's or, some shit like that. His loan payments started to fall behind. And he said he never was around enough to know what was going on. At one point, undercover agents stopped by Lucifer's to ask about alleged drug trafficking at the club. And there's also rumors of prostitution running out of the club as well. So they said, money was vanishing from the cash register. Martin opened the club with $25,000 from his '78 Super Bowl check.
Okay.
For winning the Super Bowl. And he gave 1/3 interest to two different friends who put up $1,300. But I guess they were going to run it. Mm-hmm. That's how it was going to work. They were going to put sweat equity in, if you want to put it in quotes there. The $25,000 was gone in the first 3 months, and he had to pump in more and more and more money.
Sure.
Because it's a nightclub. It's an endless pit of money. He janitorial equipment for $12,000. And that's what they gave him an invoice for.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, how is that janitor? It's a fucking mop and a ringer thing. It's not.
Yeah. $12,000 worth of Windex? What's happening?
In the 70s. Yeah. So things like that. He's getting robbed blind by everybody. Yeah. So 1978, Cowboys go back to the Super Bowl. They're 12-4 that year. They go back to the Super Bowl and lose to the Steelers 35-31.
Yeah.
That was a close game and a good game, too, actually. I obviously wasn't around to watch it, but I have seen highlights since. It looked pretty goddamn good.
Classic sports exists.
Yeah, so they asked him about Randy White in '78, and Harvey said, I can't say too many bad things about a guy who pulls you out of the fire a whole lot. If you're looking for a lot of crummy things on Randy White, I can't say them. The man has been too good to me. He's a good man. To me, he's the perfect defensive tackle. He's strong and quick and mean. That's the co-MVP with him there. Next year, '79, 11-5 the Cowboys are, and they lose to the Rams in the first round of the playoffs. Ouch. Not great, obviously.
They have been doing some winning, though. My God.
Oh, yeah. They were great in the 70s. So this year he has 8.5 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a Pro Bowler every year. I mean, because he's a popular player.
Sure.
People know his name and all that kind of thing here. The week before the game with the Redskins in '79, somebody sent Harvey a funeral wreath, somebody on the Redskins, and said, quote, sympathy for an impending loss.
Okay.
The Cowboys beat them 35-34, and I guess Harvey was still pissed about the flowers, the wreath. He marched into the Redskins' locker room with the wreath and threw it in the middle of the player huddle and said, take this damn thing back to Washington with you.
Yeah.
So he's got balls.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have got the shit beaten out of him by 50 guys. So
we beat you. Now take this home.
Yeah. He kept being able to get new bank loans because it's Dallas and he's a star of the Cowboys. So banks just want to be in business with him to, maybe we'll go out for a drink sometime, Harvey. And the vice president of the bank knows Harvey Martin now, and he can tell his friends that. So
maybe I can go to a game.
Yeah, give him another $50,000. Who cares?
Sure.
It's that sort of thing. And he's here. We know where he is. I mean, he's playing for the Cowboys. So Lucifer's went under after 6 months when the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission demanded its percentage of the drinks sold, and they didn't save enough money to pay it, so they had to close.
Oh, my God.
The two co-owner brothers and Martin's sister and a girlfriend who had helped operate the club there, so they all of them were arguing with each other, and fucking everybody blamed everybody else, and Harvey's the one losing his ass.
Unbelievable.
1980, they're 12-4, the Cowboys. They go all the way to the conference championship, but lose to the Eagles there. Okay. So that was when, the Eagles went and then lost the Super Bowl to the Raiders, I think, that year. So
they've only won recently.
That's it. That's how that goes. Harvey has 12 sacks again this year, though.
Oh.
I mean, shit, that's not too bad at all. I mean, he's still plugging away on the sacks. The next year, they are 12-4 again. They lose to the San Francisco 49ers on the catch, the Montana rolling right, throwing in the end zone catch there in the NFC Championship game. So there's that. No, that Taylor's 88-89 Super Bowl from the 88 season.
This
is
the other one?
Dwight Clark.
Clark,
Clark in the corner on his fingertips, like they're fucking just catch.
For no reason.
That was impressive shit there. Yeah, good catch there. So November 15th, 1981, he's going to dip his toe in the acting waters.
What?
Let's get in a movie. Let's see what goes on there. He's going to act.
Yeah.
So he's in the movie. It's a TV movie called The Steeler and the Pittsburgh Kid. It's a movie based on the Coca-Cola commercial with Mean Joe Green. So The moment in the commercial, if you don't know, because they showed the commercial like again a few.
Yeah, it's been recent.
So.
Yeah, it had a resurgence.
And everybody kind of has seen it parodied too.
Yeah.
It's Joe Green. He's got the jersey over his shoulder after a game, walking out, and the kid gives him a fucking Coke. Yep. And go, hey, Mean Joe. And he turns around, and the kid's like, here you go. Yeah. And Mean Joe drinks it, and he's all happy. And then he goes, hey, kid, and he throws the kid his jersey, right? And the kid's all excited. So if you took that moment and said, what would happen all around that, and made a movie out of it, that's what they did.
Who gives a shit?
That's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard in my life. The dumbest shit I've ever heard.
But that commercial was huge.
It was the biggest commercial ever, so we have to do something with it, so they did it. But obviously, I don't know how you'd make it. That's worse than an SNL sketch. There you go. It's 3.5 minutes long. How's that going to be a movie? This is a commercial. It doesn't even have a story. He just walked off and a kid gave him a Coke. I mean, you don't even know who this kid is.
It's 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's got an 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb, though.
Is that right?
That's from people voting. So, I mean, it's the only people who have seen it are people who love Mean Joe Green, I'm sure. Right. And, they say Mean Joe Green and the Pittsburgh Steelers temporarily adopt a 9-year-old boy.
What?
Remember, this is like the Globetrotters movies used to do that, like with the commercials, the cartoons, Globetrotters, and they'd have like a kid they take around. They temporarily adopt a 9-year-old boy, and they learn a valuable lesson from each other, of course.
The kid, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Featured is a dream sequence where the kid plays quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This show is based on the popular award-winning 1979 Coca-Cola commercial where Green trades his jersey in exchange for a Coke from the kid. The commercial was so successful it was run all over the world, and different versions were eventually filmed for different sports using top athletes of the day. Henry Thomas, who played the boy, also played Elliot in E.T., shot on location in Dallas, Texas at Texas Stadium. A local semi-pro team was used to fill out the roster. So there you go. This stars, Jesus Christ, Mean Joe Green, Franco Harris playing himself, bunch of people like that, Henry Thomas. Otherwise, not a whole lot of big stars in that one. 8.5 sacks for him in the 81 season, but who cares? There's a movie he's in. That's fun. So
it's about football, though, so he's not like stretching his legs.
Yeah. Later on, in December of 2001, he'll say that he brewed freebase cocaine and smoked it in Hawaii before the Pro Bowl that year.
Brewed it.
So I pictured him like with a pot on the stove.
Yeah.
A big ladle, like a witch, like a cauldron.
But it's him and some baking soda.
I'm brewing cocaine. Yeah. He's going around and, he's tasting it. Perfect. So I guess no Lucifers, like we said, that's gone. But they said that Cowboys would see him like in between meetings on the phone and, being all flustered. And they'd be like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on here? Every year he's leading the team in sacks, but still they're like, Jesus, this guy, he seems to not be as involved in football and as giving a shit in football as he should be here. He got a full-length brown suede coat with a fur collar.
That's called a trench coat.
That's called a trench coat. That's fun.
With a fur collar? I'm telling you, I wish I could pull that shit off.
That'd be fun. That's what I mean.
It's
a big
very
70s
cool.
fucking, that'd be dope. It's better than a diamond collar like somebody else we know.
Oh, Mr. Tucker.
Chris Tucker was in Charlotte at the same time as us, and
or a white suit with a diamond-encrusted collar.
Diamond-encrusted collar. He's like, I got Jackie Chan money, motherfucker. I can...
You didn't have to do this, Chris.
No, Chris, this is unnecessary, sir. Holy shit. So at Christmas, he would call a friend who sold jewelry and say, hey, man, need some presents. And he would spend $1,000 and say, they said, he'd get a bunch of things for a bunch of people. He would lend money to relatives, friends.
Oh, no.
He'd give money, some to anybody. He lent his Mercedes to his friend and ended up having to pick it up with a tow truck because the guy left it somewhere.
Yeah.
His friends would stay at his house and load his fucking bills up. His long-distance bills would be there. He bought expensive fish.
The most asshole move.
Fish. Well, even dumber because he had a tank with piranhas, and the guy who sold him fish told him, you can put these fish in them and the piranhas won't eat them. And he said he woke up and all of the fish were eaten and all of his money was gone. So he was like, fuck,
What
all right
the
then.
fuck?
Not great here. He said that, but everybody said he was nice, though. He said one time he's driving down the street with a friend of his, and his friend remembers he suddenly slammed on the brakes and jumped out of his car, just left it in the middle of the street with the door open. He said a bag lady was going through a trash can. Harvey handed her $20 and said, "Ma'am, please don't let me see you going through the trash can again."
That's
well,
so
$20 isn't going to do it forever, you know?
Here's $20. Eat forever.
Yeah, here you go. That'll do it. They said he trusted everyone. A woman claimed that he was the father of her baby, and he began just paying child support.
That tells you that he's just out there banging, and he has no idea what he's got.
Like, he probably fucked her. He just didn't.
Yeah, he
it's
had
not
to.
actually his kid. Yeah, yeah. You
unless he's that stupid that
I've never seen you before. You don't remember Detroit back in '74? Oh shit, I was pretty. I don't remember who I fucked back then. Yeah, I guess so. Sounds right. That's I left one in you. That sounds like me. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like me. Jesus Christ. Moron. So then she threatened him with a paternity suit asking for more money and saying she was going to embarrass him and all this type of shit. Then he got blood tests and he wasn't even the father. But he continued paying the money anyway.
He's an angel.
He said, quote, "Such a cute little kid."
Oh.
Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck?
What a heart.
That's a heart. And, oh, God.
And
so you're giving this scumbag person who lied to you.
I've seen a lot of cute kids, man. I'm not paying for all of them.
You're a cute little kid that's somebody else's motherfucking problem, and you pat him on his little head and you send him on his way. There you go.
Your dad must have been a handsome man. Sorry you don't know him.
Yeah, you should track him down and get money from him. I don't give a fuck how cute you are. I'm not paying for... If it was a friend that said, "Oh my God, I have this kid and I don't have any money and I was a football player," I'll help you out then. But if you go, "It's yours," like, and then it's not mine, I'm not giving you shit, and I'm suing you for everything I fucking gave you. That ain't my kid.
Matter of fact, I want it back.
I want everything back, but I guess not. His phone number and house keys just gave them out. People would call at 4 a.m. all the time. Nobody minded, and calls to London called for people, and people would charge shit from pay phones to his phone number. I'll just charge my home phone and give him Harvey's number, because you could do that back in the 70s.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Drew Pearson said he stayed at Harvey's house for 6 months and said, quote, "I'd wake up and see people there who weren't there when I went to bed." Like,
people would show up in the middle of the night and just stay?
Just people would come in and out like it was like a hotel. He said Harvey would find his clothes fucked up and could tell someone had gone through his drawers and looking through his shit. I guess a $2,400 watch disappeared, which is like a $20,000 watch now.
Yeah.
So he bought a $3,000 watch to replace it. A girlfriend bought him a $1,700 gold bracelet with 37 diamonds spelling Harvey.
Wow.
And asked him to co-sign on the loan when she couldn't get the credit. So he ended up paying for it.
His own
gift there. Harvey said, though, he felt that, I guess he couldn't tell anybody no, couldn't turn these people down. He would hear from school friends, from high school teammates and shit like that from, "Hey, Harvey," you know. He's like, fuck, man. He's really started to fucking have to deal with this. He said he got so stressed. He started losing his hair. He started,
hair and money?
Hair and money going.
Oh my God.
Going. He would wear hats and would stop sitting on couches because he didn't want anybody to be above him to see his head and make fun of him. So he'd just stand up with a hat on and be like, I have lots of hair.
He got very vain all of a sudden.
Oh, really quickly.
Yeah.
Since he got that jaw fixed, he's like, "I am pretty." God damn it.
Yeah.
He couldn't sleep, and he would just hole up in his house after a while. Just really turned into a different kind of guy. People would send bank statements and loan overdue shit piling up in his mailbox.
Shit.
He had to pay the IRS is after him. He has to pay all these lawyers' fees to fight it off, tens of thousands of dollars. He didn't call his mom for a month at the height of his depression. He used to call his mom all the time. Mm-hmm. He started to he just started to sit there and stare at his pool after a while. Think of the things that could have happened and things that should have been and that aren't.
Looking at that bracelet that he had to buy.
A girl he went out with at one point scaled his wooden fence and kicked in the plexiglass in his back door and broke in. Because he had that. Like, he's got crazy people all around him, and he's just a mess, man. So
what the fuck?
In August of 81, Sharon Bell agreed to marry Harvey and, try to help him. That's what she said. They were going to marry in the autumn, but he didn't want to. He said, never mind.
Okay.
He said a little bit of him still needed to be able to go out to the bars and have girls come up to him at 2 o'clock in the morning and stroke his ego a little bit. And, it makes him feel good, and he needs that still. So it got postponed until the next Valentine's Day. And when that came up, he postponed it again. And he said, quote, I just can't go through with it. And
he just needs to lose everything. That's the only way he's going to learn. This all is from like adulation that he needs. He heard the crowd cheer, and he didn't see that as means to an end. Right.
He saw that as fuel that he could use. So he needs that. He needs the ego. He needs people to stroke him rather than understand that is you're trying to get to a point of an end. You don't. That's not the end that you're looking for.
His helmet's got stars on each side.
Yeah, you got fuck on each side.
It's a real jukebox hero.
He is. He said, I didn't feel like a guy's supposed to feel when he gets married.
Yeah.
I don't know what that feeling is, but I didn't feel it. And besides, I was in the middle of all my financial problems, and I never take my problems to anybody. Okay. So he didn't want to get married. 1982 here, January 3rd, 1982. This is in the Abbeville Meridional. Meridional is the name of this fucking publication.
You can't say that. Y'all got the Meridional?
Meridional.
Welcome to the newspaper stand. What can I get for you?
Let me get the Abbeville Meridional. Especially in a Texas drawl. The Meridional.
What?
Huh? Maryland? What was that?
Hey, we don't have Maryland papers here.
Marinara? We don't have that in Texas. I'm sorry. Not allowed. It's not allowed here. So that's where he is. This is Sports Talk with Harvey Martin.
Okay.
And they're asking him, this is a Q&A of him here. And they said, what do you think of the Cowboys being called America's team?
Oh, yeah.
He said, quote, as players, we didn't ask for it. It puts added pressure on you, and if you want to be the best, added pressure isn't going to do anything but make you perform better. A lot of people make good football players out of themselves under that type of pressure. They said, are you always an emotional player? And he said, my emotions run with the flow of the game. If I'm involved, I play better. When you play on emotion, you can make mistakes the other players can take advantage of. I try to play with emotion without letting it show. They said, you're the only native of Dallas on the Cowboys. Did you dream about playing for the Cowboys as a kid? Well, the Cowboys didn't fucking exist when he was a kid, number one. He was born in 1950.
Yeah.
So they didn't exist till he was 10.
Sophomore year of high school, his stepdad was furious that the boy didn't even know how to play football.
Yeah, so probably not. He said, that was too much to dream about, just too much. I never thought it would happen to me. I always thought I'd wind up in business. Playing for the Cowboys was something I refused to dream about. Jesus, he wanted to be a businessman? He's terrible at it. What is he doing? He said, I figured I'd save myself the hurt of not playing for Dallas. I wouldn't do that for myself, so he didn't even dream about it.
Okay.
So they said, it must have been a thrill when Dallas drafted you. He said, strangely enough, I was upset. I wanted to be drafted by somebody away from the area because I'd never been on an airplane. I wanted somebody to buy me a plane ticket so I could fly around and get used to it.
Okay.
He said, playing at East Texas State, I just drove to school from Dallas. We won a national championship when I was a senior, but they had the final 2 games at East Texas State. Everyone was flying in, and we didn't go anywhere.
How great is that?
That's wild. He just got to hang out and stay at home. Fuck, man. That's interesting. They said, do you have to make a big adjustment to play professional football? And he said, I had one advantage because Dwight White of the Steelers was my roommate at college. He's always been the person I looked up to. He's sort of a big brother who'd given me all kinds of advice. And he said also he and Mean Joe Green helped him work on his moves before he went to his first training camp because Joe Green lived in Dallas. So that's nice of him. Jesus Christ. Very fucking cool. So, yeah, they talked to him a little bit about his college career and shit like that. So they said, are you a religious person? And he says, I'm not overly religious, but I believe a lot of good things have happened to me in life. I know they wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for God watching over me. I just feel that everything I've got, he gave me. It's just the way I was raised. Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds like you are religious then. Should have been your answer. Yes.
Hey, you just credited God with this shit. That's a non-religious person doesn't do that.
That's what I mean. Seems like you're religious. So in early 1982, or August 82, the largest drug raid in Dallas history got 35 suspects here. And the Cowboys vice president of personnel development, Gil Brandt, he wasn't one of the people busted, but he told Harvey Martin that pictures had been found of him with one of the key figures in an alleged multi-million-dollar cocaine ring. And also a barber. He was also a barber who had cut Martin's hair. Uh-huh. So Martin tried to just be like, oh, yeah, that's crazy. What are you talking about? But the rumors kept swirling about Harvey and cocaine and all this type of shit, and Harvey and cocaine. And one time he's signing kids' autographs, and a reporter asked him about the cocaine, and he looked at the little boys, then the reporter, and then he got in his car and slammed the door and took off. How dare you ask me about cocaine in front of children?
You know that I can't answer that. I'm going to make an ass of myself in front of these babies.
Shit's good. I like doing it off hookers' asses. Woo! Kids, don't do what I do. Stay in school, play hard, and
don't be a fool.
Listen to your mother. Okay. So he tried to do all of this type of shit, but now it's just everything. Yeah. His businesses fail, and the IRS is after him, and this woman with paternity suits, and then this stuff, and cocaine. No. It all adds up here. In December of this year, he files for bankruptcy, listing $611,987 in debts, 145 creditors, and 11 lawsuits filed against him or corporations, including his name.
11.
Not good. So, yeah, it's September 24th, 1982. He's trying to settle a case with the IRS. Yeah. He's doing his best to do that. He's the subject of a big investigation for failing to report a lot of his income. It was like hiding things here. Also, they said that there's reports linking him to the huge cocaine thing, and this is all like from the paper. And he says that Martin's tax problems have absolutely no connection with the cocaine thing. That's crazy.
Okay.
He said, I don't think it's going to materialize into much, is what the source said for this, meaning that they don't think Martin's going to be involved in the criminal things. And, Martin said, quote, it's been going on for 3 years with the IRS. I'm hoping we can work something out. I'd love to work it out with the government and pay what I owe. I'd love to not go to jail. That'd be terrific. Is what I'm trying to do here. He said, the bottom line is my accountant at the time didn't report my income right. I'm paying the supreme price for placing my trust in someone. He said, when the IRS is looking at you, you want to make those people happy. I gave the IRS all the corporation records. I didn't have anything to hide. He said, yeah, it looked bad at first. Large amounts of money were moving through Harvey Martin corporate accounts, and portions were not reported to the IRS. He said he mistakenly placed his trust in the wrong person. He said it was stuff that his accountant didn't report out of complete negligence. And even the accountant has admitted that in a deposition.
Oh,
he's just bad at it. Then he also said it's kind of hard to blame these people when so many are trying to steal their taxes. I don't blame the government. If someone doesn't report their income and the person is someone prominent like a Dallas Cowboy or a councilman or something, I'd go after him too. Yeah, there you go. He's like, I'm not even mad at the government. Please don't put me in jail.
I'm on your side. I'll pay.
Then he says, from now on, I'll handle my own money. Or
That's not a good idea either.
Or I'll let my mother or my wife when I get a wife. Okay. When I get a wife. I'm going to hire one of those wives, and she'll have her do it.
I don't think the IRS will be fine with that answer.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll handle this when I get a wife.
Jesus Christ. So they said that one of the top-ranking federal agents who's working on the combined DEA and FBI investigation was angry about the release of pictures and stressed that Martin's presence in the photograph with the drug guy was not an indication that he had any connection with the cocaine ring. He said, I don't believe that should cast doubt on someone's character strictly because of a photograph. That's what the guy said. So that makes sense. Yeah, if he knows a barber and that barber sells coke, it doesn't mean he's involved in a cocaine ring.
Right.
He does lines with his barber, maybe. That's what that means at most.
If he's aware that the guy has coke.
Yeah. So 1982, the Hood County News here says, win a sporty Camaro Z28 when Harvey Martin's leaning against it, or one of over 70 autographed footballs by Harvey Martin. So you can win a Z28 or a Harvey Martin football.
I can get a car or a football
at All Pro Auto Parts in Texas here. So there's that. That's the kind of stuff he's doing. Any endorsements he can get. He needs money.
Mm-hmm.
You offer the guy $1,000, he'll show up. It's that kind of shit. 82 Cowboys go 6-3. That was the strike shortened year. They lose to the Redskins in the conference championship. Again, they're kind of a disappointment. They really didn't. They were so good for so long and didn't really get the Super Bowls that they should have had.
Right, the plural,
at the time.
Right.
Yeah. So one day during the strike, he came home during the strike. This is from a 1983 Sports Illustrated article. It says that he, quote, pushed the button in his Jaguar that raised the garage door, parked the car, then turned the knob on the door to his house. The door was locked. It seemed everyone in Dallas had a key to Martin's house except Martin.
Except himself.
He pulled his right foot back and kicked and kicked and kicked, and then he walked through the splinters and shook.
Oh, my God.
He just kicked his way through his door, which is the advantage to being gigantic, I suppose.
Yeah.
2 weeks before the strike ended, Channel 5 took away Martin's sportscasting job. The director of sports, Scott Murray, said people liked his work, but he was undependable. We'd have a camera crew waiting somewhere, and he wouldn't show up. Or we'd have a film editor on overtime waiting, and he'd come 3 hours late. He was just such a nice guy and an easy touch that he'd allowed himself to get involved in too many other things. Wow. So he's fucked up. At a post-strike game in Washington, fans celebrated his bankruptcy at the time, because it was the same week, by throwing pennies at him.
Oh,
Here, Harvey, we'll help you. That's nice. A Redskin lineman during a during an extra point attempt said, "Hey, Harvey, need a loan?" Like people were fucking with him there about his money. So that's not good. One play, on a play late in the game, Joe Theismann, the Redskins quarterback who snapped his leg in half a few years later, throws an interception. Martin landed a forearm and drilled him right in the face with it after the throw. So then he also hit Art Monk later on in the head and fucked him up. And there you go. And then he's fined by the league $1,500 that he doesn't have, obviously.
He's getting fined now for fighting back.
For beating up players.
Yeah,
he beat up a receiver and a fucking quarterback. The linemen are talking shit to him.
Sure.
But, they're harder to beat up, I guess. So he, Chapter 7 bankruptcy clears up his deal here. This is what Sports Illustrated said. Martin thought the storm had finally passed. He had shrugged off his debts through the miracle of Chapter 7, and his mother now controlled his finances with a cobra of a checkbook that snapped any time Harvey's fingers came near. He registered 8 sacks in the strike-shortened season, and many felt it was the best football he'd played in 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. In the week before the Cowboys' second-round playoff game against Green Bay, Martin saw men gathered around his locker after practice whispering. They were news reporters who wanted Martin's reaction to Stone's testimony in court. Stone is the guy who cuts his hair that got busted for the coke.
Yeah.
That day, that Martin's involvement was more serious than a few friendly snapshots. Okay. Stone said, quote, he would go in on it, cocaine meaning, with me. He would say, here's some money, I want so-and-so. I don't think he'd ever done it before he knew me. I think I talked him into taking a toot. So Martin said, God, what are you talking about? He said, quote, please believe me, someone's trying to hurt me bad. I don't know why. My God, he lied on me. My God, he lied on me. My God, he lied.
The guy's saying he'd have 5 on it, and he'd go in and get the same amount and tell me what he wants.
Yeah, they go in on shit together here. So they said that Harvey went home, and all the pain and all the anxiety of the years came galloping back to him on the heels of this hot-breathing new hurt. He remembered Dwayne Thomas. His heart pounded. He still couldn't sit still and feel this anymore. He called his mother and told her he was quitting football that day.
Oh.
A midnight rap on the door from awakened an ex-cowboy, tackle Rayfield Wright, who was a veteran that helped Martin in his early years. Wright, in his robe, opened the door. This is what Wright said later. Just looking at Harvey, I got chill bumps all over me. I'm quitting, Cat, Martin said. I'm sick of people accusing me things I haven't done. Man, Wright said, you're going to quit because of that? And Harvey said, I'm tired of fighting. My life is a fight. That's what he said. He said, no matter how weak or tired you get, living is fighting, is what the other guy told him. He said that he cried, Martin cried, and he said, you know what I really think it is? Beneath it all, Wright said, it was the shame that he had brought to his mama. Oh. Brought his mama shame. So he went home at 2 a.m., and then he ended up calling tight end Billy Joe Dupree and going through the whole thing again at 2 a.m. So he's just looking for people to talk to. In the morning, he didn't report to work. And his sister called, and after 20 rings, he answered, telling her he was going to drive to his late grandmother's old house.
Oh, no.
That's
weird.
No. Mary said he wanted to escape back to his old haven. I lit into him. I told him I was going to leave my kids and sit on his front stoop until he went to practice. I told him if he quit, he was admitting guilt. He said, I still don't know, and I yelled, then you're guilty. He started screaming, and then he started apologizing, and I said, there you go again, apologizing to everyone for showing your real feelings. And his mother called and said, you're not going to quit? That's just what some honky wants you to do.
She's not
Fuck
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's just what some honky wants you to do.
Yeah.
That's a great line. So he went to practice there, and he kept doing it, and people kept fucking with him, and the Dallas police chief announced he would not pursue the allegations against Harvey.
Really?
But Harvey's friends stopped calling him because they thought maybe his phone was bugged. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people didn't want to be associated with him because they thought he was being watched and shit like that. So, it's 1983. Everybody's doing coke, and nobody wants to be around him.
And he thinks, and now he's losing friends.
Yep, Harvey said, I went through it all alone. No one called me aside and said, it's okay, we understand. That's okay, but I'll remember it. Randy White, I love him and he's a great player, is the only one who gets a pat on the back on this team. And it was all because some defense attorney wanted to take attention off his client. I, Harvey Martin proper, never did a damn thing. How much can one man take? How much can one man take?
Is that right?
That's what
He's
he said.
been framed.
That's what he said. I've been framed. That's it. Drew Pearson said, "Hey, when you're talking talking drugs, it's stay as far away from me as possible. Guys have to do that just to protect themselves." So he's like, "I don't want to be near any of that shit." So he said he would hang out in friends' offices after practice would end because he didn't want to be alone.
Yeah.
He'd hang out in his agent's office. And there was no commercials anymore for him or anything like that. His agent said, it scared me. He seems so desperate. He
not for nothing, but sports agents, you're going to hang out with one for time? Oh,
got
God,
no one
that
else to talk to.
Shitty.
3 months after the season ends, he checks into the Hazelden Foundation, which is a center for drug and alcohol rehabilitation in Minneapolis. And it's up for debate whether he went or Landry told him he had to go. Okay. Tom Landry, the coach. He stayed for a week, though. Landry said, quote, "We sent him there to evaluate the program for us, not to dry out. I don't feel he's involved with drugs."
Oh, we just want to...
Are you...
We'd send completely sober men to a rehab to just see what it's like.
Scope it like a restaurant. They're like if you're going to have your rehearsal dinner somewhere, you go there ahead of time and eat to see how it is.
Sample the ribs.
What, are you fucking kidding me? This guy? Is he...
Would you go there and sit in a bathrobe, drink coffee, and smoke cigarettes and tell us how it is?
Please, just drink. Really, tell everyone about your shitty childhood and make friends with people you'd never talk to again.
Who does he think he's selling that line of bullshit to?
Who is he? Our Delta pilot? Who is this fucking guy? Tom Landry. Do you fly planes for Delta now that you're dead? So, his mother became angry and said the best thing to come out of it all for that child is that they're teaching him how to hate. That's a weird thing to say. Yeah. So he's all sorts of fucked here in 82. There's a big article talking about major creditors. He still owes $211,000 from all his bad investments and all this type of shit. He said, there comes a time when you do too many things in your life and you do nothing. He said, I owe it to the fans of the Dallas Cowboys. I need to keep my mind on the 50-yard line and not on the small forest fires created out of ignorance.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of ignorance swarming around him here. Owes $37,500 to Frost National Bank. He owes, Jesus Christ, $50,000 to Stoddard Construction Company, $19,000 to Western Securities, just all these different, you name it, he owes it. So keeps going. In 82, he had 8 sacks, though, so that's decent. 83, the Cowboys are 12-4, lose in the first round of the playoffs. Not terrific here. Now, August 2nd, 1983, he still has problems here. There's the Adidas Award. What is this? Oh, the sportscaster said, "Hey, Ed, too tall," or "Hey, Ed, hey, too tall, can we get a word with you?" And then Harvey Martin was there, and he said, the name's Harvey Martin. They confused him for Too Tall Jones. A sportscaster did that. That's pretty fucking bad.
I did that at the Hall of Fame. Embarrassing.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It sucks
you
so much.
That shit. That's so funny.
That hurt so bad. I feel like such a piece of shit.
I'm done, so I'll never approach anybody just in case.
She's got to know for damn sure it's the guy that you want the picture with.
I mix people up all the time. Way too much to be that assured of it. It's got to be someone I really know. Like, otherwise I'm not doing it.
There's no two Arnold Schwarzeneggers.
No shit.
It's got to be a very obvious man.
Fuck, man. So he's a mess now, obviously. They're talking about May of 1983, and he's at a party for the people involved in the production of a small play company that's putting on productions, and he's acting in it.
In Dallas?
Yes, at Granny's Dinner Playhouse in Dallas.
Oh, Jesus.
Where he is in a production of Damn Yankees, performing the role of Applegate the Devil.
Okay.
And he's having the whole cast over to his house to do this, and he's trying to be normal. And he drops 25 goldfish into his piranha tank so people can watch that. That's a thing that he, like a party trick he has.
That's a show? Good God.
That's it. Let's see. There's a Misty Rowe from Hee Haw is also in the cast.
Okay. I don't know
She's
who she
there.
is, but I've seen Hee Haw a lot.
She said the piranhas remind me of the Hollywood producers, and goldfish on the other side are us. Right. So there you go. Then she said, no wonder Harvey went bankrupt, feeding them all goldfish. You know, I can't imagine my Harvey with the big grin and so gentle having piranhas in his house. Interesting here. But some of the people didn't like the piranha trick, I guess, here.
Yeah, that's a bit much, man.
So he's talking about people think he's a good actor in this article. He's not saying it. Other people are. A friend of his, a backup offensive lineman for the Cowboys, said they saw the play and said, "You're a natural. I saw Joe Namath act at Granny's, and he was all right, but he was just up there being Joe Namath. You were acting, man." Okay.
You were being Ahab.
Too Applegate.
Yeah.
Too tall Jones said, "You blew me away. I can't believe it."
Oh.
So very excited. Harvey said, "My first play in Dallas, and it's a hit." Too Tall, they were talking about acting because Too Tall had done an episode of Different Strokes.
Oh.
So between Dinner Theater and Different Strokes, you really can get the full range of show business and talk about. There's a lot to talk about here. Jesus Christ. This is fucking funny. So you're talking about this whole party. It says Too Tall's about to expound on the art of thespianism when Harvey remembers he needs to go out back to turn on the jacuzzi. Two girls jump into the pool with their clothes on. Like a 6'5" whisper, Martin disappears and returns with two women's swimsuits. If they don't fit, I've got more. Too Tall said Harvey's a smart guy.
Yeah, he is. Get those clothes off, girls. Put these on.
Jesus. Martin hurries off, swigs a shot, then goes in search of a dust cloth. On the 4-foot screen, the devil is singing his big number. He's got a video of the movie Damn Yankees. And everyone in the living room is begging Harvey to do it too. He starts to mouth it while polishing an ashtray, but the picture cuts out. They cut my scene, he yelps, laughing, and he suddenly remembers he needs to go serve more barbecued beef.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire, and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
Wow. Too Tall says, Harvey's always been a hyper kind of guy, but now you can't talk to him for more than 3 minutes before he's moving on. Yeah, now Martin is outside, walking his sister Mary to her car, shocking her by kissing her for the first time since she can't remember when. Happy that she came early because that meant there was one person there that he knew and loved. Yeah. So they're just saying he's having a party, and he's got a different group of friends here, and he's got actors and people from the team here. He said, it's amazing. I put these things on, when he said put his dress, like his outfit on his costume, and poof, I feel like I'm the devil. There you go. Okay. So he's very excited too.
It's amazing. I wear a costume of the devil, and all of a sudden
it makes
I'm the
me
devil.
feel more fucking devilly. He also says that he said, I heard a few years ago they took a poll down there and voted me most popular player, and so I just had to go down and find out. You know what? It's true. No whispering behind my back down there. It was just, there goes Harvey Martin. I felt so refreshed because he said that he went to Acapulco, and apparently in Mexico he's a very popular player.
Okay.
Yeah. He says, I'm getting the hell out of this town. I need to go where I feel loved. This city is full of hypocrites. I spent half my life bending over backwards being nice to people, and then someone says I used cocaine and they turn their backs on me. One day this city will have to learn that I'm a human being.
One person, the guy I do coke with, says I do coke, and now I hate this place.
Yeah, that's right. But then the 83 training camp began, and a whole new round of drug rumors happened because there's a leaking of a story that federal agents were investigating the drug use of Harvey Martin, Tony Hill, Tony Dorsett, Ron Springs, and our buddy Larry Bethea, who we had an episode about.
Sounds like a lot of people.
So Martin, Coach Landry said that, they didn't like his conditioning, and they thought he was, they just thought he was getting soft over here. Yeah. That's how it goes. So Harvey's he's in trouble. It's all kind of falling apart, and he didn't save his money. So that's an issue. That's a fucking issue. He said the public and the media just don't understand what they're doing to people living this life. You can't go out and drink 3 beers and meet a nice new girl. Now people feel like they have to bring you down if you're a celebrity, and if you happen to be black too, oh wow. So he said, this is the South, man. This is the South. This is the South. With a white guy, it wouldn't be the same. I'm sorry. No. They found a vial of white powder on a white guy on the team, and that was Don Smernick, who was a reserve defensive tackle, and nothing happened. If it had been me, there'd be a trial. Being a cowboy is sugar-coated, but look what happens when you retire. Who do you see on the commercials on national TV? The Walt Garrisons, the Bob Lillies, the Roger Staubachs, the Don Merediths. You ever see a black cowboy? You ever see Calvin Hill or Bob Hayes or Cornell Green or Don Perkins or Rayfield Wright? They had great careers, but somehow they didn't leave in good graces. It frightens me.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He said that he has given his Mercedes to his family because he doesn't want to risk having a second car in front of his house where someone might plant drugs in it.
Okay.
He started.
I don't want to have multiple cars. As somebody may plant drugs in it.
Drugs. If it's outside, I have a 1-car garage. If it's outside, people are going to plant drugs in it, and then I'm in trouble.
Okay.
He said, I'll be back. I'll be a leader on this team again. So that's what he says here. He's very excited and ready to do this, but who knows? He said, beautiful Harvey Martin, though. That's still who he is. October 28th, 1983, he gets a warning from the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. He said if he continues to play like he is now, we'll have to make a change, they told the newspaper. So he said he's not
10
in shape
years into
yet.
his career, though. That's very impressive.
He's still, he's still doing well, and they want to replace him with Larry Bethea, of all people, who's going to have a way worse problem than him. So, fuck, man. Harvey said that if Ernie wants to make a change, that's okay with me. I've been working my butt off, but Larry can have it. Talking about Bethea. So it's bothered me a great deal, Bethea said about his diminished playing time. I figured when I was playing, I thought we were doing a lot better. I felt the team was being shortchanged. When you've got an asset, it stands to reason that you want to put it to use. So he's talking some shit. November 2nd, 83, Harvey's pissed off.
Okay.
He's pissed off. It says, quote, beautiful Harvey Martin used to do combat with offensive tackles in the National Football League. Martin versus Stark, Martin versus Jacoby, Martin versus Slater. Now it's become Martin versus the world, Martin versus Landry, Martin versus Bethea. The friendly relationship Harvey Martin had with coaches, friends, and the media is increasingly deteriorating. He's become an isolated person. He's refused to return phone calls from friends and ex-teammates. When ex-Steeler defensive end Dwight White, a teammate at East Texas State, returned to Dallas as a couple weeks ago, he tried to contact Martin but had no success. Messages were left with an answering service, however. Martin refused to acknowledge them. Wow. Saying he's become a different guy. He said he's, getting older. He said he's often contained at the line of scrimmage or takes himself out of a play by circling too far to get to the quarterback. Some of us can recall when Martin was able to circle the tackle and sack the quarterback without being touched, but no longer. His feet dance to a slower pace nowadays. Yeah. Saying he doesn't have the intensity there.
Speed,
he's
none of it.
He's out of shape. He's doing nothing. So, and he's ready to, he said, if they want to give my job to somebody else, let it happen, which is strange here. He gets in a car accident November 25th, 1983. I love the way the article starts. Beautiful Harvey Martin was driving to work Wednesday afternoon when the lady in the car next to him made a right turn into his car. The car, Harvey says, isn't too beautiful anymore, and it took him about 15 minutes to get his senses back. It shook me up pretty good. Yep. Then I read the paper, and it says Harvey Martin got in a wreck, but it doesn't really matter because he doesn't play much anymore. So he's like, damn,
goddamn thing.
They don't even give a fuck now.
Yep.
Yeah. They said he's been accused of being a crybaby at this point and all this shit. And he's starting to dislike being in Dallas, which,
sure.
I mean, that happens. You know what I'm saying? So he offered no reason why he's been playing. He won't talk about his play, basically. If you ask him about stuff, he'll go, I don't know, whatever they want to do. I'll play however I want to play. He said, I motivate myself. The people out there won't let me get down. I see them on the street, and they tell me they love me, and they're behind me all the way. He said, I'll admit I've had off-field problems. I came to training camp horribly out of shape, and I wasn't playing up to par. But I wasn't being given the chance to play up to par. I just had a birthday last week. If you don't play well at my age, 33, you're gone. But I still want to play my heart out. I can still contribute. Said he wants to go to the Super Bowl and everything else here. Now, 83, sack-wise, he only has 2 sacks in 83 in 16 games.
Oh, no.
So that's not good. Now, after the season, the Cowboys order a drug test while they're feuding with him, and he claims that he was being forced to play injured, and they ask him to take a drug test, and he just retires because he doesn't want to take the drug test.
Really?
Said. Yes. Now, Tom Landry stated that Martin was sent to evaluate the program again because they said, oh, now that he wouldn't want to take a drug test, you sent him to rehab, didn't you? And he said, no, I didn't feel he was involved with drugs. That's not what happened. So that's interesting. Landry said somebody can use Coke, and it's like beer to some extent. Interesting. We're talking about recreational Coke. That's a big difference with chemical dependency. This is 83 still. So he's like, you can just have Coke sometimes. People aren't addicted to it that much.
It's just recreational. It's not prescribed. Don't worry about it.
Wow. That's fucking funny. Harvey gives it up, quits, says he's over. He said, after 11 years of pro ball, you have to evaluate your future. Really? He said, after talking to my family and friends, I've decided this is the best thing to do. I'll miss the Dallas Cowboys and especially Coach Landry. Yeah, he lied for you, so you should probably think he's good. I guess his contract would have paid him $275,000 that season. Okay. Not bad at all. So, again, he's been acting in this thing. They're talking about his acting, and now that's going to be over. So now what's he going to do? He announced that he has a tremendous opportunity. He said that he wants to he's going to salesman for a South Dallas electronics firm now. That's what he's going to do.
Really?
Yeah. So he's going to be like, I'm going to do it. I can do it.
Universal remote controls.
I'm going to be at the forefront of that shit.
Or is he with Texas Instruments? Is that what
he's
it is?
He's going to say, Beta or VHS, I'll sell them both. I don't care.
He's selling really big calculators.
Yeah, exactly. Huge, those big, giant fucking Texas Instrument jobs where you're like, I don't even know what those mean. What math do you do on those?
I don't know what any of these buttons mean.
No shit, man. So, yeah, he's got no money. Everybody's talking about this. They're like, oh, when you have no money, you retire? That's strange at the time.
Yeah.
So after he retires, he takes a job as the sports announcer with KXAS TV Channel 5 and KKDA radio station, and also briefly served as a color man for NBC on their games here. Also, we'll find out that he's in a bunch of stage shows that we knew about, obviously. Amazing Grace and Chuck, No Safe Haven, Damn Yankees, The Odd Couple. He's in all sorts of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So, May 31st, 1985, he is arrested here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's driving while intoxicated and may face other charges pending an investigation of an unidentified substance found in his car.
What color was it?
I can guess what it might have been. He was arrested about 30 minutes after police were called to a suburban restaurant where, quote, Martin and a lady friend got involved in an altercation. That's not good.
Yeah.
An officer later said he saw Martin's driving erratically and dangerously in the parking lot of a nearby shopping center with his car's lights off.
That's
tearing around.
Yeah, the lights off at night it seems like it's the way to get away from the cops, but that gets their attention more than you think.
He's just doing donuts in the parking lot here. They do his blood alcohol level is 0.11, which is just above the 0.10 legal limit at the time.
Yeah, Texas.
So he is booked on charges of driving while intoxicated, taken to jail, and released, and they're doing an investigation and all that kind of thing. He also has a daughter in 85.
Oh, God, I thought you were going to say
a daughter named Chase Martin. Okay. Yeah, he had a daughter in the car. She was holding the Coke in her little hand. I guess she lived with Martin's mother, this daughter, at this point. April 7th, 86, he is in this is great because I've seen it, in the Chicago portion of WrestleMania 2.
Yeah.
He takes place in the Battle Royal.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, Harvey Martin. He does not look like a wrestler.
No.
He has got a weird upper body that is not conducive to wrestling, but tons of wrestlers are in that fucking
Does he have
one.
an upper body like you would have if you married a monkey and a bear together?
Maybe, possibly something of that nature. A lot of the Fridge was in that one.
Yeah.
A lot of players like Russ Francis and a bunch of these different NFL guys. A lot of linemen mainly from back then because they have to be huge. Otherwise, we throw a wide receiver around. Can't have fucking, Andre Reed getting tossed around back then. That's not going to work. Mark Duper getting his ass kicked.
It would be funny to see Andre the Giant use Don Beebe as a chair.
That would be great.
As a folding chair.
Hold Jerry Rice by the feet and use him as a helicopter and knock people out. So, he gets tossed out in that. It said, quote, after about 7 guys get thrown out of the ring and are out of the match, Harvey Martin gets thrown out. And I'm not surprised because Harvey Martin came out in these little tights looking more like Mary Martin. That's from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram.
What the fuck?
Yeah. You look like a homo, Harvey. Look at you. Harvey Homo in your fucking pants over here. This fucking guy. Look at him. In his tights like a fairy.
What do you kiss, guys?
What are you going to... Why don't you jerk him off while you're in there? Come on, Harvey.
What the fuck?
What a weird thing to print in the paper.
Harvey
He also appeared several times in World Class Championship Wrestling, which is all the Von Erichs in there, as a ringside commentator later, too. Okay. So December 7th, 1986, here, Harvey, he's going to have a book out now.
Uh-oh.
Texas Thunder is what it's called. And by the way, we have to do a bonus episode on Hollywood Henderson's book because it's half about orgies.
Oh.
It's just half about orgies and doing fucking freebase with like a bunch of naked people you just met. It's the fucking craziest book.
Like narrating how the party went?
It's a memoir of his
he remembers
craziness.
It all.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm talking where he's like, I told Too Tall to come in, and then he started fucking this bitch, and then I was doing a fucking rail off her ass, and then it's the craziest book.
Wow.
It's wild. It's called Texas Thunder. Yeah, but they say in the newspaper there's a vast multitude of reader fans out there who don't want to dismiss books like this. We want to read them. We love reminiscences like a quarterback loves a 2nd and 1. Meaning second down and 1, and Martin never disappoints. It's a well-written account of his all-pro career with the Dallas Cowboys, and he has written it without the aid of an as-told-to companion. Well, his wife is smart, his girlfriend. I don't think she's around by now, though. The meat of these books usually is the castigation of teammates that reveal the backstage secrets of the game and its players. Martin keeps it at a minimum in rocking and knocking rookie Rod Hill and veteran Tony Hill, whose shortcomings are already known by Cowboys fans, but he takes a major step forward when he comes out and shockingly accuses 3 former Cowboys of cowardice.
Oh.
According to Martin, Pat Toomey slipped blocks he didn't want to make. Golden Richards was flat out scared, another alumnus of ours, Golden Richards.
Yeah.
And Gene Fuggett, yes,
Really?
Fuggett.
Yeah.
Fuggett. That's a drunk fuck it.
Yeah.
Feigned injuries so he wouldn't have to face feared Pittsburgh opponents in Super Bowl X.
Wow.
Another staple of the tell-all sports book is sex, and here Martin doesn't keep anything at a minimum. Somehow I found myself not really wanting to know about all the girls and all those Highland Park matrons who were bored with their oilmen husbands and who would be picked up by Martin, Hollywood Henderson, and Too Tall Jones nightly and taken to Jones's home for mass sex orgies, which is in the book, which we'll talk about.
Oh, my God.
This whole episode would have just been, okay, let's talk about orgies. So it would have been hard, which will be fun, but we'll do it on Patreon. That's more of an orgy kind of a thing.
Awesome.
I'm sure the wives of the married players, unnamed, won't take to reading that virtually all the married Cowboys, with the exception of Staubach, took part in the sex circuses at Jones's bachelor pad. Which is the same as later on with Michael Irvin and all those guys. They did the same shit. For a bruising giant, all-pro defensive lineman Martin reveals a surprising childhood picture of a semi-frail kid growing up in Dallas, running away from bullies and not even knowing how to play football until he transferred high schools in 11th grade. Man, Martin touches on the complexities of Tom Landry's system. By the time you truly understand the flex, you're too old to play. His tight friendship with Thomas Hollywood Henderson.
Yeah.
He says he never knew Henderson was using drugs until it was too late to help him. Lying.
What?
He was literally in the Super Bowl with liquid cocaine shooting up his nose. You don't think he fucking told his friends about that?
He had nasal spray, for Christ's sake.
This means that Martin did a shitload of coke if he hung out with Hollywood Henderson.
Right?
There's no other way. There's no other fucking way. His financial disasters in the business world and later suspicions that he himself was involved in drugs, the innuendos leading to his decision to retire after 11 years. Also that he had 2 sacks in 16 games didn't hurt either.
It's kind of over.
The account is not without errors. In one segment, Martin writes that in the 5th game of the 75 season, the Cowboys lost to Green Bay, a game won by the Packers 19-7. Oh, they said they lost the game. However, in this case, it's obvious that Martin must have written the Cowboys loss to 0-4 Green Bay. Oh, there was an editing error. They're talking about typos.
Yeah,
the fuck out of here. So 86, Harvey Martin fills in the gaps, is an article from the San Angelo Standard-Times, and he said that this is about the book. Question. There's been a number of stories surrounding your retirement. One you mentioned in the book suggests you refused to take a drug test at the request of Cowboys security director that caused you to lose faith in the organization. He said, when I left, it wasn't because of the test. I was just tired. I was working out very hard. I had a shoulder that was injured the year before, and I was forced to compete for my job after 10 years. I worked and got myself back, and the strength coach who helped me started wondering why I wasn't playing. I was never given a reason. Then Tom Landry called me up during the 83 season and asked me to take the drug test, and I took it and was clean. But I was worrying, why are you doing this to me? But I don't knock Coach Landry because we had all the cocaine scandals down there in Dallas. So still, I was hurt by the organization. I really haven't gone back since I retired. Haven't been back in the locker room. I don't want to face them. In public, Coach Landry hasn't said my name since I retired. How prevalent was drug usage, cocaine especially, in the league when you retired? Quote, it was like the thing to do. You know, At first, it was the actors and then the politicians, and then it moved to the athletes. Every group had its time. We, the Cowboys, happened to fall right into that. They said, even though you tested clean for drugs, is the problem something that still follows you around? He said, my name is still associated with drugs in Dallas, but not away from Dallas so much. It happens when I meet new people. Some of them say, well, you know that Harvey Martin, he was involved with all that cocaine stuff. You can't do anything about it, though. Wow. He said, when you were chosen as the Cowboys' envoy to Hazelden, that's the rehab center,
right.
Why were you chosen? He said, I don't know. I could take a guess at that.
Yeah.
Coach Landry called me on a Sunday in the offseason and asked me to go for the good of the team. He wanted me to come back and educate the team about drugs. I didn't want to have my name associated with drugs at first, but I'm glad I went. I didn't know about the danger of drugs before I went. I was just a football player, but I learned a lot. I saw what I didn't want to become in my life. Anyone is capable of going over to the dark side. Jesus Christ. 3 weeks ago, Jim Covert of the Bears and Bill Fralick of the Falcons said they experimented with steroids. They said steroids are much more of a problem in the NFL than any other drug. Do you agree? Yes, it's probably the most widespread. I've seen guys shoot up with steroids right in the dressing room. Trainers don't shoot them up. The players shoot themselves up or take pills. Right. I've seen them shoot up with liquid steroids. They said, on the Cowboys? And he said, yes, maybe 10 or 15 guys were using them when I quit. I'll never tell anyone who they were. It's always been that way. Steroids have been around since I started in the league. I didn't use them, though. I didn't want to become sterile. I didn't believe in that artificial way of conditioning.
Okay.
Yeah, so he talks a lot about steroids. They said, what about alcoholics? A lot of alcoholics? And he said, yeah. What are you, fucking stupid? Of course.
They hurt.
We go out every fucking night.
Yeah.
They talked about, he said, Terry Bradshaw was one tough cookie. He was the only quarterback I couldn't intimidate. That's interesting because he got the shit knocked out of him. Terry Bradshaw's too dumb to be scared. That's his problem. He's especially back then, he used to get concussions constantly. And he was dumb to begin with. Right. So, he was like, I'm not scared. I don't even know where I am now. That's okay. What's going on?
Do you think you can scare me?
Who can scare me? That'll be him in 10 years, just forgetting exactly what he was going to say there. So March 8th, 1987, St. Louis Post-Dispatch, warrant issued for Harvey Martin.
Oh, no.
Arrest warrant issued for him because he failed to appear in court for his drunken driving charge, which was very stupid here. July 2nd, 1987, he's an actor again.
Yeah?
He's in No Safe Haven, starring Wings Hauser.
Who?
Wings Hauser. Yeah. He's a dipshit.
You know who he is?
Big giant head. You've seen him in a lot of B movies, and you'd recognize him if you saw him from the 80s. You'd be like, oh, that guy. You never knew his name.
Wings is his first name.
Wings. And his son is Cole Hauser, who's an actor too.
I probably know who Cole is, huh?
Yeah, Cole was in Dazed and Confused, and I think he's in Yellowstone or some shit too. He's in stuff now still.
Yeah.
When his family is murdered by members of a drug gang, an undercover CIA agent tracks them down, but they escape and flee to their hideout, a fortress in South America. I don't care about this story, and I'm not reading anymore.
It already sucks.
It sucks, and I've lost interest. Wings Hauser is in this, and really not a lot of other people of any note here. But Harvey Martin, what does he play? He plays Harvey Latham.
Oh, big stretch. He plays himself.
He'll respond to Harvey, probably. On IMDb, this is a 4.5 out of 10, which is not good.
Yeah.
October 24th, 87, Amazing Grace and Chuck.
Oh.
He's in this. This is a movie. He was in the play version of this, too. A Little League player named Chuck refuses to ever pitch again until nuclear weapons are disarmed.
What?
What the fuck is that?
Who the fuck said? Who the fuck said green light?
Wow. Who starts a sentence with a Little League player and ends with nuclear disarmament? What the hell are you talking about? What do those two things have to do with each other? A grown man won't eat a cheeseburger unless there's peace in the Middle East. What? Doesn't make sense.
This kid, you don't understand. He's driving the Little League industry all by himself. We need him to play.
But they said basketball star, like a pro star, Amazing Grace Smith, follows the boys' example and starts a trend.
Oh.
So, that's what happened here. Chuck Murdoch's an all-American kid living in a sleepy Montana town. He's the top pitcher of the Little League team as well. Okay. After taking a tour of a nuclear silo, Chuck decides to quit playing Little League until nuclear weapons are disarmed. That's fucking awesome. Harvey Martin plays Mad Dog.
Oh.
Also in this, Gregory Peck.
No shit.
Gregory Peck, Jamie Lee Curtis.
What?
William Peterson, CSI guy.
Yeah.
William Peterson. Red Auerbach plays himself.
Really?
The coach. Yeah. Alex English. Alex English plays Amazing Grace Smith, the former Bulls star, that big scorer before Michael Jordan came there. Michael Bowen, Dennis Lipscomb, Francis Conroy, Robert. There's some stars in this shit.
How did Jamie Lee Curtis get this script and be like, I'll take it?
Is Harvey Martin doing it? If Harvey's not doing it, I'm not doing it. But if Harvey's in, I'll do it. Wow. November 11th, 1987, he apparently here gets arrested and jailed temporarily now.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. On 2 misdemeanor charges of check theft.
Oh.
Here, as Dallas County continues an announced roundup of bad check writers.
Oh.
He was arrested outside the radio station where he works. Officials said he paid $299.50 in unpaid fees, fines, and court costs stemming from a September 25th, 1986 check. He also posted $200 pretrial release bond in connection with charges from a check written. I sincerely apologize to the community for the inconvenience. Fortunately, I'm gainfully employed. I paid all the fees and court costs and made the checks good. Wow. Okay. That's not great. So there's, I guess, a bunch of other people are talking about that. July 7th, 1988, he's acting again here. Yes, he does. The latest coupling in The Odd Couple features, if you're ready for this, former Dallas Cowboy Harvey Martin in the role of Walter Matthau's role of Oscar. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Playing opposite Martin as Felix is actor-producer Don Shook, the one-time Casa Mañana singer, best known in recent years for his work on the country club dinner theater circuit.
Yeah.
This is what the fuck is going on?
In the role of Mathau, a maybe cokehead Dallas Cowboy.
As one of the Pigeon Sisters from England, director John Wall has cast Sandy Powell, a country singer, Mack Truck poster girl, and winner of the 1986 Best Legs in Dallas contest.
Well, I'll watch now.
The Mack Truck poster girl? What the fuck kind of goddamn...
The April spread of the Snap-on calendar is going to be the... What is this? This is ridiculous.
That's asinine. Are you joking? And Best Legs in Dallas? All right, next up, Best Tits. Come on, ladies, up on the stage. Best Ass is next, and Best Camel Toe is coming after that. Best Big 80s Bush Bump is coming. Whose pussy looks most like a big cock and balls inside a jockstrap? Let's see. Come on up here, ladies. Oh, Jesus Christ. So the dinner show, this is in a dinner theater. Tickets are $14.95.
Oh, Jesus.
January 8th, 1989, he's acting again. Movie called The Comeback.
Yeah.
Starring Robert Urich.
Oh.
Who was Spencer for Hire. Again, a guy you'd know if you saw him, Robert Urich. Scott Malloy is a former NFL football player who travels around the world without a care. He decides to come back to Minneapolis to settle down and start a life for himself. He pays a visit to his ex-wife and son, Bo. Bo is in a very nice relationship with Jessica, a girl. Who cares? This is a terrible description.
What the fuck?
Who gives a shit? Who else is in this? China Phillips is in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, China Phillips is the...
That's the lead singer of Wilson Phillips, man.
Yes, that's. I didn't know she was an actress too. So
I didn't know that either.
It surprised me. Harvey Martin plays a man named Eddie Radish.
Really?
Which is Eddie Radish. Is
that feels like a character
Eddie Rabbit
in fucking or fucking VeggieTales.
Yeah, I'm Eddie Radish. Yeah. So another thing, Harvey's is a nightclub in Dallas here, Fort Worth's newest nightclub.
Oh.
Harvey's is an exclusive nightclub with the latest in high-tech lighting, sound, and video technology. Opening May 17th, Harvey Martin is now accepting applications for all positions. Apply in person, Friday through Tuesday. Let's see if you have the best legs in Dallas and you can do this.
God.
April 2nd, 1991, Harvey's a free man after resisting arrest.
Yeah.
He's free on bond on charges of misdemeanor assault, resisting arrest, and a misdemeanor drug charge stemming from a weekend incident.
From Harvey's?
Well, a Justice Center official said Martin was arrested at about 2:30 a.m. on a woman's complaint that he beat her.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a little different than that. Harvey was booked into jail at 3:20 a.m. and released at 5:50. Jesus Christ, that didn't not much of a not much there here. September 26th, 1991. There's a big Fridays, TGI Fridays is doing this thing. And it said, we've been planning tonight's party for 20 years. 20 years ago today, TGI Fridays broke ground on its first restaurant in Dallas. We think it's a great excuse for tonight's incredible celebrity birthday bash. Celebrity waiters. You'll find the excitement at all Dallas-Fort Worth Fridays. For starters, you may discover that a familiar-looking man taking your drink order is Dale Hansen, or that your potato skins are delivered by Harvey Martin. I want my potato skins delivered by Harvey Martin. I'll have it no other way.
I will take no potato skins that are not dropped off by Harvey.
I want Coke around his nose, and I want him to be like, here's your skins, man, just throws them down.
You got a lot of tables.
Wow. In fact, got a lot of tables, man, a lot of skins. We didn't order potato skins, Harvey. I don't care. They're yours now. In fact, you'll see a celebrity waiter at each location whose tips, hard-earned tips, of course, will go to his favorite charity.
Okay.
Isn't that fucking nice? So January 25th, 1992, Joe Gibbs, who is coach at the time, big time Washington head coach, Super Bowl champion, all that shit. He said, I was an assistant coach at St. Louis, and Harvey Martin was playing for Dallas. He used to come over to the 50-yard line and stare everybody down. We had Conrad Dobler and Dan Deerdorf, the Monday Night Football announcer from back in the day. They started yelling at Harvey Martin. Well, poor Roger Finney, he doesn't know what's going on, and he's the one who has to block Martin. The first two plays were sacks by Martin, right over Finney. So the bottom line is, don't get other people ready to play. So Harvey's whole thing is, if you piss him off, he gets this physical burst of strength. He knocked the one guy out.
Right.
He is the water boy, the coke-fueled water boy.
How about that?
The cocaine boy.
And without it, he is a docile little angel.
Yeah, he's just chilling. 1992, he's in a movie called Steele's Law.
Oh, my God.
And that is 6.6 out of 10. Let's see what they say. Steele is a plainclothes Chicago cop recruited by the FBI to foil an assassination plot in Dallas, Texas. Well, too late.
Yeah.
It seems that Joe Kino...
40 years too late.
40 years too late. Joe Kino, a former nemesis of Steele, Joe Kino, like the game too, Keno, is planning to assassinate the Iraqi ambassador to the U.S. Oh, for Christ's sake. Yeah. Kino is funded by several prominent Texas businessmen. This is a fucking disaster. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's starring Fred Williamson, or it's directed by Fred Williamson and starring Fred Williamson.
Oh,
so,
it is
directorial. Written by Charles Eric Johnson and Fred Williamson.
Yeah, it's his movie.
Yeah, it's his movie.
It's Windy City
all
Heat.
Of it. It's Windy City fucking Heat. And it stars Bo Svensson, Grant James. Harvey Martin plays Captain Fargo.
Oh.
Bunch of people I've never fucking heard of. May 1st, 1993, Harvey Martin Sports Card Show.
Oh.
This is from the Tulsa World. This is at the Howard Johnson Hotel on the I-44 and South Sheraton. Harvey Martin autographs, $4 in advance, $5 at the door.
It's just him.
It's just him and sitting in a fucking Howard Johnson's banquet room signing autographs for $4. That's what he's doing. Signing $4 autographs.
That is
in the 90s.
That's what crackheads do.
Yeah, in the 90s. That's not even like in 65 he was doing that or something. April 19th, 1995, the Harvey Martin will be headlining our annual fall football kickoff sale.
Okay.
Voted last month best Cowboy defensive lineman in history by his peers, Harvey will be in Laves Jewelry at 2232 West Gentry in Tyler on Saturday from 12 to 4 p.m.
Oh, my
Free autograph with purchase of any color or black and white photo.
Oh, boy.
Wow. 1996. Okay, let's see. Shit gets real interesting here. Life kind of spiraling out of control here. March 30th, 1996, Corpus Christi Caller-Times. Harvey Martin faces drug and assault charges. Oh, boy. He claims police brutality and says the evidence was planted. It's all planted. That's why I keep one car.
Yeah.
He is arraigned on one felony charge and 2 misdemeanors. He says he was beaten in the police department garage. Okay. I believe that he probably had drugs and was probably beaten. I believe everybody.
He's probably manhandled for sure.
Little column A, little column B on this one here.
Yeah.
Harvey Martin, former Super Bowl MVP for the Cowboys, has been arraigned on charges of drug possession, assault, and resisting arrest following a quarrel with his live-in girlfriend. But the former defensive end contended Friday that the drugs were planted and that the police beat him after the confrontation in his apartment. He also denied beating Debbie Clark, 36, who police said was bruised and had hair torn from her head.
Oh,
no. Oh, boy. Magistrate Judge William Ridgway arraigned Martin on 1 felony charge of possession of a controlled substance, 1 misdemeanor assault charge, and 1 misdemeanor charge of resisting arrest. He posted $2,500 in bail. He earlier served a probated term for marijuana possession, which we couldn't find any more on. Could face 10 years imprisonment if convicted. He claims he was the victim. Quote, "The narcotics were not mine. I walked out and talked with these officers, but they beat the hell out of me. These 2 guys said they had to restrain me, but that's what they had to say." That's what he said. They searched me once, then jumped me in the garage of the police department. One guy was getting madder and madder, and he has a thing against black athletes. Police denied planting drugs on him and beating the athlete during his arrest. A search of his pants pockets during the jail booking produced 2 baggies containing 1.8 grams of cocaine. Clark, who is the cop here, told officers that that's the woman. The woman. Sorry. Told officers that Martin had proposed to her Thursday, had visible signs of swelling on her wrist and forehead after the fight. Martin denies attacking her. Clark fled the North Dallas apartment she shares with Martin shortly before 1 a.m. to call police from a neighbor's home. She said Martin had slapped her and struck her with a closed fist on the head and in the ribs, then grabbed her by the hair and head before she was thrown down.
Oh, my.
He said the officers who confronted Martin at the apartment found him highly intoxicated. They said he struck them with his elbows and pushed them, is what the sheriff's spokesman said. And so they said that's why they beat the shit out of him. So April 25th, 1996, assault charges dropped against him. Yes, they're dropped because the woman he lives with decided against pressing charges, they said.
I love
Yep. Still faces the misdemeanor resisting arrest and felony drug charges, though. But, she had claimed slapping and punching and all that sort of thing. And he claims the police still have definitely planted that from him. So from the Sacramento Bee paper, when arrested in April, Martin filled out a personal profile for his bondsman. He listed a beeper number and his office phone and described himself as self-employed in public relations with a $100,000 annual income. In the blanks marked previous employer and supervisor, he wrote Dallas Cowboys and Tom Landry. Supervisor Tom Landry. That's fucking hilarious. August 14th, 1996, Harvey Martin is arrested again.
Oh, boy.
Arrested after fighting with his girlfriend and will be observed for mental illness now.
What's happening?
Harvey's been hit in the head a couple times, maybe. The arrest on misdemeanor harassment and assault charges was the second time in 6 months he's been arrested, again for Debbie Clark, same woman. After Martin posts bond on the assault charge, he'll be taken to Parkland Memorial Hospital for observation on a temporary mental illness warrant. Wow. August 16th, 1996, he avoids prison and faces rehab, though. He pleads no contest to felony cocaine possession in exchange for probation and participation in a treatment program and a $1,000 fine. He'll spend 9 months in drug rehab while serving 7 years deferred probation.
Oh, my.
The deferred status means that if he avoids new offenses during the sentence, his record will be cleared of the drug charge.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had quite a week.
He's now in the system, and at 40-something years old with mental health issues and chemical dependency, this poor bastard is now going to have a cyclical life.
It can't stop.
It's not going to get better.
By the way, that assault charge that he's accused of slapping Clark is and also a misdemeanor harassment charge for allegedly making a threatening phone call to her brother as well.
Oh, no.
So that's why the psychological stuff came in. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ. Man? What's your problem, bro? August 21st, 1996, here, he is sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off 2.5 years in prison. Yes, on charges stemming from an attack last week on his girlfriend because he violated his probation.
Oh, my God.
That's right. The sentence could be reduced at a later time. He's ordered drug rehab while awaiting an available jail bed.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. He was charged with resisting arrest. That was that whole plea thing, that same night he was charged with resisting arrest for allegedly scuffling with officers after he gets arrested for fighting with his girlfriend again.
Unbelievable.
October 27th, 1996, 2 days later or whatever, he says, it's all good. I'm trying to turn it around.
Okay.
I'm in treatment to help change my behavior. At the moment, my treatment is all important to me.
Yeah.
Finally, in court and to friends, he admitted the rumors he's always denied. He's had a long-term, big-time drug problem, even during the height of his playing career. Duh.
We know.
You hung out with Hollywood Henderson. We know what you were doing. Are you kidding? And it makes sense why all that cash has gone, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my account, we didn't know where it went. It went here. It's in Coke. That's where it went.
He thought he was making shitloads of money with the businesses, and he wasn't.
No.
And he's doing Coke.
That's fucking wild. So November 10th, 96, there's an article, ex-cowboy Harvey Martin is coming to grips with his problems. Jesus, I fucking get that out. It's all in capital letters. I can't say it. But when the spotlight returned this year, it glared upon a different, not-so-beautiful sight. In court, Harvey Martin admits to domestic violence and cocaine use and is ordered into a Dallas Community Drug Treatment Center. It may be the first time in his life that somebody has said to Harvey Martin, this is not about the Cowboys, this is not about your celebrity, said his attorney, Randall B. Eisenberg. Mm-hmm. This is about whether or not you're going to be a street person, a penitentiary person, or whether you're going to reclaim your life. Wow. That's interesting. He said, I'm in treatment to change my behavior. That's all he'll say. I'm trying. He said, I've smoked. This is Thomas Hollywood Henderson. Quote, I've smoked crack cocaine with Harvey. Harvey's been using cocaine since the 70s, more than 20 years ago, and it's not surprising he's hitting bottom because Thomas Henderson cleaned himself up completely. Remember, he's still doing fine. His family, friends, his employers, his girlfriends, his associates, the police, nobody stopped him. Maybe nobody could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't tell a rich fucking famous guy he can't do cocaine. He's going to do cocaine if he wants to do cocaine. That's why cocaine exists, for people like that to do it. So he says, though, by all accounts, and what he says is his mother, Helen, is the one who really pushed it through. She said, I could say so many things, so many wonderful things about him, but I'd be late for church, is what she said. That's what she said when someone asked for an interview. Yep. She said, quote, why is it always Harvey Martin is the monster? What would you do if you took your woman's keys away and you were sitting there eating your dinner and she broke into your house? That's what Harvey said. Yeah. They said, do you mean to say that you can honestly tell me you've never hit a woman?
Huh?
He said that.
What?
To somebody. He said those words.
I can't tell you that.
Easy. Real quick.
That's the fastest, most truthful thing I can ever say.
Yeah. The only way you maybe shouldn't be able to say that is if you grew up with a sister very close to your age and you guys fucking
That's not a woman.
That happens.
That's not a woman. She ain't nothing but my sister.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what if it's your mom? That's good too. Yeah. I just beat my grandmother up. It's no big deal.
Never hit a woman in my life.
Oh my God. So they say those who know Martin well attribute the violence to drug use, but experts say it's a mistake to think of that getting an abusive person off drugs will automatically stop the violence.
Yeah.
So usually there are issues unrelated to drug use, mainly a need to control others, physically if necessary. Yeah, that happens here. So Randall Eisenberg is Martin's attorney here. We'll talk about this in a second. They said that during the last decade, Eisenberg and others have said Martin slipped into a marginal existence of drug dependency. Between apartments, Martin slept in cheap hotel rooms, in cars, and on friends' couches. Yeah. There were fallings out with family members and former teammates who refused his calls.
Like a crackhead.
Like a crackhead. He's just disgraced himself now, and everybody's like, well, oh, poor Harvey. He's just, his life's falling apart. And, honestly, besides the beating up the woman there that time, outside of that, he hasn't really done anything to hurt many people. He's done a lot to hurt himself. I mean, you almost feel bad for him, almost, but not nearly as bad as you feel for Harvey Martin, master coach and mentor to CEOs. Well, we know that's not our guy. And in Victoria, Australia here, Harvey Martin, COO, Chief Operating Officer at CL Wealth Management. Well, our guy certainly didn't do that.
No wealth.
We know that. Yeah. Well, what's he managing? Nothing. Harvey Martin, human performance coach of the San Francisco Giants.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, he works at the Giants there. And, of course, also in Captain Ron, Martin Short played Martin Harvey, which is almost Harvey Martin. In the
that is fantastic.
And keep an eye out for Harvey and Martin PLLC. It's a CPA firm. Yeah. Which is fun, too.
I love that was Martin Short's character.
Yeah, Martin Harvey. That's hilarious.
I didn't realize that. That's very funny.
That's very fucking funny. And it's the picture of Martin Short in front of me while it's thinking of Harvey Martin is hilarious, too, because you couldn't get any more different physical human beings than Harvey Martin and Martin Short. June 14th, 1997, Celebrity Basketball Classic is taking place, featuring Robert Newhouse, Drew Pearson, Tony Hill, Billy Joe Dupree, and Harvey Martin. Also, Cliff Harris, Mel Renfro, and Ed Too Tall Jones. 1998 in June here. Same thing. They're doing these Dallas Cowboy games again. Yeah. Remember they did that?
Yeah.
The new team had the, May 24th, 2000 here. He's got another public appearance here. Fire Station Service Center. It's just a gas station. Grand opening celebration.
It's not a fire station. It's a gas station.
It's a service center specializing in Mercedes, Lexus, and all imported automobiles. It's literally just a mechanic's place here.
Right.
Stop by, meet our friendly staff, join us for hot dogs, refreshments, and meet Harvey Martin.
As he changes your oil.
Yep. If you bring a new educational toy or stuffed animal to be given to Champions for Children, you get a free autographed photo of Harvey Martin.
Wow.
4-wheel alignment on all cars is $49.95, so that's something to think about, everybody.
Performed by Harvey Martin.
Performed by Harvey Martin. Tyler Morning Telegraph, June 1st, 2000. Martin said he's happy to be back in East Texas, and he's just a happy guy, and, couldn't be happier to have everybody be embracing him again. Once he said, hey, I've been a crackhead for a long time, everyone went, oh, okay, fine.
That explains it.
Fucking lying to us for 25 years, so we didn't know what your fucking problem was, weirdo.
Right.
December 24th, 2001, Christmas Eve, 2001, here, Harvey dies.
What?
He's dead. 51 years old.
It was almost, he was running it back.
He's running it back, and he got definitely pushed out of bounds at the 30.
Shit.
What
happened?
Yep, apparently a lengthy battle with pancreatic cancer. Which is a killer, man. That's brutal. That's brutal. He underwent a major surgery about a year ago, never fully recovered. His condition worsened over the last few months, and people would be like, everyone came and visited him recently. Like,
yikes,
they all knew he was going to die. Yeah. So he gave his loved ones hope that he would last a little longer. He felt strong enough Saturday that his doctors allowed him to go home from the hospital. He returned almost immediately, though. 2 days later, he passed away at 8:24 p.m., almost made it to Christmas, at Baylor Medical Center in Grapevine here. Let's see. Hospital spokeswoman said Martin's family plans to issue a statement. Jethro Pugh, who played alongside of him here, said he watched him suffer, and it was tough. He said, it's like losing a member of your family. It was tough to see Harvey that ill, and there's nothing you could do. Our hands were tied.
2001. How old is that man?
51. He's 51. Young as fuck, man.
Jesus.
That's young for that shit. Martin once said, I'm a big fan of playing for the team I'm crazy about. That's something you dream about when you're small. I never really dreamed about it, though, because I never thought it would happen, that thing. So, but he got to die here. That's good for him. Jethro Pugh said his life was going very well. He became more secure, more stable. He had things turned around toward the end. And he said he even wrote me a letter. This is John Nyland, an offensive lineman here, gave him... Pugh credits the job that he got with Harvey Martin. He wrote me a letter and asked me for a job. It was genuine and very heartwarming. I have a lot of feeling for Harvey. He needed a chance to do something. He did turn his life around. I'd like to think the job had something to do with it. Jethro got him a job.
Yeah.
He said, but the Lord had plans for Harvey. He never complained about his illness. He was a tremendous inspiration for the people he worked with and was around. I'm glad I was part of his life. So everybody said he got a job as a salesman for a Dallas company called Arrow Magnolia, and he spoke to children and drug addicts and other groups about drug abuse and the challenges in his life. He never married. In 2007, he was selected to the Lone Star Conference's 75th anniversary football team and named the LSC's Defensive Player of the Decade for the 70s. 2010, inducted into the Lone Star Conference's Hall of Fame. Martin's sister, Mary, established the Harvey Martin Dream Foundation, an organization to foster educational mentoring and financial assistance to minority high school students in her brother's memory. Dan Deerdorf once said, on the field, he was a competitor, and you'd hate the guy. Then you meet him off the field at the Pro Bowl or at a league function, and you'd find it was impossible not to like him. You'd leave him and be mad at yourself for liking the guy. So that's Harvey Martin, a likable guy who fucked up his own life. And
like a crackhead.
Also would slap a woman around when he was on a little too much coke, which was also terrible also. So a guy who fucked his life up, like a lot of the guys in the 70s. Right. This is a very telling 70s, 80s story, all this coke. Yeah. And like I said, we'll do a bonus episode on exactly what the nightlife of the 70s Cowboys was like, because Thomas Hollywood Henderson does not pull any fucking punches whatsoever.
Martin's life, you could fill in a lot of names and just make this a spreadsheet. Choose your own adventure for the same thing happened to a lot of these guys.
Absolutely.
But they just didn't die so goddamn young. Jesus.
Then 51 pancreatic cancer is a motherfucker, though. That's a
lengthy battle. You're lucky to get that. Most guys don't get a lengthy one.
He got the Swayze, and it was over quick.
Yeah.
Fucking weak pancreas. It's bad for you.
It's not good.
So anyway, if you enjoy that story or any other we tell, please tell the world about it. Give us 5 stars on whatever app you're listening on. Please do that, and thank you for doing that.
Truly.
Also, you certainly want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Right.
Check out everything there. Tickets, Dallas in December 2nd, Small Town Murder. August the 26th, we will be in your living room for a virtual live show, Halloween themed. It's available for a week after that at Small Town Murder, just like a live show, but you're in your living room. We're super excited for it. We're going to dress up in costumes and everything. That's shutupandgivememurder.com/virtual live is where you get those. Right. Also, you can get merch and everything else on the site. So enjoy, hang out with us and do that. You also want to be listening to Your Stupid Opinions, our other podcast.
Right.
And if you're listening to this when it comes out regularly, anytime past September the 18th, it is out right now. So you can check it out. We make fun of people's terrible reviews of things, and it's a real fucking good time. So get in there and check it out. Can't wait for you guys to hear that. You also certainly want Patreon. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of the bonus materials. Anybody $5 a month or above. Not only do you get that, you're going to get a Jimmie butchering your name in a minute. It's wonderful. This week, what you're going to get, not only the whole back catalog, but every other week, a new one or 2 new ones, one Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get it all, damn it. This week for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about Operation Slapshot, which was a bust of a hockey gambling organization or people betting on things, people involved in the NHL. It's pretty wild. And we'll also talk about the movie Slapshot, because neither of us had seen it when we did our top movies, sports movies. Somehow we missed it, and we both watched it, and obviously it's as good as everybody said it was, and we're going to talk about it, and some behind-the-scenes stuff we'll talk about, too. Fun shit. For Small Town Murder this week, we're going to talk about Fire Festival.
Right.
What a disaster it was, and, of course, what a disaster the next one will be, so that'll be great, because people are Can't wait to buy tickets for it. Just to go, I got robbed by the Fire Festival. Isn't that funny? And I can post it on social media and become popular. Oh, maybe I can be on several documentaries next time when we're talking about this. This sucked too. And like I said, you get a shout out at the end of the damn show. And when does that shout out happen? Right now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever beat us and then say they weren't on cocaine or crack or anything else of a stimulant fashion. Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett. Thank you so much, Jordan, for always being a part of this. Danielle Loveland, thank you. Alexander Frost, and the Watershed Voice nominated for a Journalism Award. Congratulations and thank you.
Congrats.
Jeff Lewis, we missed you in Charlotte. Thank you. Anachronics LLC, thank you. Kyle at Roadrunner Cannabis in New Mexico, my friend, thank you.
Love that.
Yeah, wonderful man. Leslie Savage, it was a pleasure to meet you. Donald McCord and his 103-year-old World War II veteran Papa. Happy birthday, Mr. Ben Towns. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Taylor Clegg, thank you for driving so far to come see us in Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Other producers this week are the Scarlet Horbeast and the CIS Movement. Liz Vasquez on her way to the UK. Skip Bayless and Tyler Manfred. Janice Hill. Tanya Willis giving it both ways. Mildred, happy birthday from us and Debbie. Thank you. Stretch Cunningham. Kyle Norwig. Dr. Kubert. Pam Parent. James Creasy. Snyder with no last name. David Baker. Shitball Weaselhead Jr. Patrick Doherty. Rascal Beardley, Chris
God, that was
Cerrone.
Junior. I thought you were going to say something else at the start of the... I was like, wow, that's impressive. Yikes.
Rascal Beardley, Chris Cerrone, Scott Sullivan, Kelly Pearson, Darren Wilkins, Mark Hollinger, Tin with no last name, Mikey Stevenson, Dick Spalding, Sarah Bettler, SLED, the actual SLED, the fucking people who investigate things. I don't think it's really them, but that's the initials that were given. Sure. Alyssa Siak, that's what it is, Siak. Mm-hmm. Derek with no last name, Christine Erickson, Kelly Stroll, Dale Caldwell, Andrea Roberts, Darby Casey, Whitney Adams, Rosemary Garcia, Michael Longwell, Benjamin Ruback, Rebecca Dijak, Shane Gordon, Dwayne Donovan, Seduth, Alexander, DC2891, Nicholas Akins, Tristan Miller, Jason D, Jodea, Pacos Briggs, Leslie Kennedy, Taylor Holly maybe Hale, Christiana Acevedo, Britt Heath, that's Bree, Crenshaw, Donna Hill, Julia Larkowski, Axel Quivistargard. Thank you, Matt Roberts.
Thank you.
Mama Kenna, Evan Aroli, Brian Wellborn, Joey Murda, 87, Amanda Milliken, Raven Thompson, Kevin Miller, Percy Miller's brother that's dead. Kevin, no, that's Kids. Kids Meet World, 206. Emily Jones, that's Master P. Jennifer James, Antoinette Nichols, Daniel Sawyer, Drew Sawyer. I imagine those are brothers. Wesley Behar, Miss Shelley Belly Jelly Bean. Adam Grout, the brother of Tile and also Thinset. Ali Jiao Vip. Ali Yao VIP? I'm not sure. Jim Kolb, Jabe Richardson, Jabe Richardson, Lauren Gassner, Casey Burns, Liz Sullivan, Donna Taylor, Jennifer Woodard, Katie Tucker, Brian Natureboy Loney, Ashley Madeir, JV McGill, Tucker Doyle. That is 2 last names. Meredith with no last name, Simon Brown, Nicole Adams, Miss Z, Alicia probably Lopez, Maria G, Jamie Moon, Jody Salzman, Salzman, Katie Ferrero, Cliff with no last name, Hannah Obey, Arube, O-U-B-E, Ryan H, Carl with no last name, Katarina, D Cave, Scott O, Kev with no last name, Christina with no last name, Justice Haffen, Miss Chestnut, Jason Hensley, Nikki Shepard, Eric R, Noel with no last name, Shauna, that's just Sean Thornton, Teresa Basate, Holly Niasi, Janir the Bat, Charlie McClanahan, Ruse Kid, Deja Brown, AJ Macy, Michael McCoy, Melissa Hall. I don't know. That's Malaysia an I Hall? And an A. Malaysia, maybe, perhaps. Sydney Gallagher, Ben Thompson, Donovan King, Kathy Stiltner, Pedro with no last name, Carly Ryan, AJ Ski 123, Matt with no last name, Alex Gibbs, Jennifer W, Ben Nev, Erica Hengi, Corne Lavelle, Justin Robinson, Alexandra Nan, Allison Paulowski, Jeff Aubley, Jake Danke, Jason Palmer, Bleach Black Cat, Russ Morgan, Jamie Harper, Rogan Helms, Lisa Moody, Jamalin, Bogan, Misty with no last name, Casey with no last name, Jeremy Fisher, Brendan Sather, Matt Mosier, Jerry Cockrell, Jessica Miller, Max with no last name, Liberty Schumacher, Mara Gannon, oh boy, Tony Gruters, Joseph Thompson, Joanne D'Onofrio, Vincent's wife, obviously. Give him our love, would you? Janelle Johnson, Mike Evans, Bailey with no last name. Grant with no last name, Happy Maggot, AK, Maria Kipsusli, Drew Taylor, Alexandra Johnson, Trish McCluskey, Paige Pieske, Matt DeFever, David Henry, Uriah Sparks, not Sporks. Whose last name is Sporks? Joshua awesome. Wilson, Matthew
Johnny
Marks.
Sporks. Nice to meet you.
Jeanette McMahon, Vienna Castellanos. You know what it is. Amanda Anziano. You know what that is. Courtney Cunningham, Wayne with no last name, Lacey Kotaki. Careful with that one. Beth with no last name, Kakashi 98, Lisa Bell, Lena Marie Jacobson, Christy Kelly, Samantha Wagstaff, Brooke Montana, Brent with no last name, Seda with no last name, Jasmine Lauren, Tiara W, Xander with no last name, Tyrone Bullock Jr., Lisa Wright, Becky Niebarger, Dina, it's Dina Hollister, Autumn with no last name, Beautiful Monster, Liana Schulster, Caleb Nelson, Nathan Dolezal, Shannon McCarty, Ashley Johnson, Brendan Gardner, Bateman, James Spalding, Emma Scott, Wavy Jones, Madeline Biggins. Thank you, all of our patrons. You're amazing.
Thank you, everybody. You wild, crazy sons of bitches. We love you so much. Hope you're enjoying the content on Patreon. We love making those episodes, and we'll keep making them and keep making weird ones for you. Don't worry about that. Thank you so much. If you want to get a hold of us or anything else, everything, all the website and all the social media to us and everything is all on the website. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com. Links, boom, click it, get on, come find us. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Thank you.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.